Guys, guess what I forgot to do again? I'll be back in 2 seconds. I gotta go give my cat food. I can't believe I forgot. Okay, I can't believe I forgot to feed my cat again. I spent so long debating what I wanted to eat for dinner that I forgot about my cat. Okay, well, good. Why, hello there. Good meowing, good afternoon, or good evening. Whatever time it is for you, thank you so much for stopping by, and welcome to tonight's stream. We're back in Paradigm Paradox Land. It's been a while. Last time we played was like September. So we're gonna have to do a little recap fast. But let's pop over here. Hello, hello, hello. It's me. And yes, I am Oji-sama. Oji-sama. 先輩じゃないよ、王子様. Alright. I did have to restart my Switch for a software update. So we're gonna get to watch the opening stuff again. Oh, excuse me as I start yawning. Immediate stream starts, yawns start. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna have to play around with audio settings again. So I remember this. Yep, this game gets loud, weirdly, and then quiet. I mean, Black Friday sales are coming up-ish. We're gonna watch the opening movie again. His character voice is Arthur Lounsbury. That is the most American name. Nah, Holly's Canadian. Title drop. Alright, here we go!
Paradigm Paradox.
So.
記録してたところ、覚えてる?
Nope! Yeah. Helping. So yes, last time we played was September 3rd. September 3rd. So basically, to give a very quick recap, our good friend Lise is alive. We saved her. She was gonna turn into a vector, but we saved her. by becoming friends with Ibuki, who is Moravia. And basically, we have left where we lived, and we now live with the Vectors. We have not stuffed any muffins other than the original muffin stuffing. Yeah. Sorry. Oh, thought I was gonna sneeze there. Nope, just yawning. And Ibuki.
Well, thank you so much for stopping by.
Ibuki is the leader, and yes, she is her normal self. She is that's okay. She just has some fun little tattoos now from her partial vector transformation. But Ibuki was talking to us about how, you know, we're no longer human because magical girls and boys are the outcome. No, but there will be a prize at most stamps at the end of the year. So I think Pudding's winning that. But yes, so basically Ibuki is asking us to decide between joining him and like destroying humanity or being his enemy. And we're like, what the fuck? Oh god. I saved again because I knew I needed to restart. Everything Ibuki and I discussed, the air of danger in his words, my desire to escape. I told her about my plans to wait until she was strong enough to travel, and then the two of us would leave the colony for good. Yes, that's right. We're trying to escape. We're trying to fucking get out because we're like, ooh, he's fucked in the head. Lisa immediately understood. I'm so sorry. I was the one who dragged you out to the middle of nowhere, and now I want us to escape.
いいよ、謝らないで。君が私のために頑張ってくれてることはよくわかってるから。
Lise and I decided to stay a while longer, wait for an opportunity to flee. It is for Game Prince. Then, starting the next day, I tried my best to avoid Ibuki.
これから一緒に出かけない？近くにすごく景色のいい場所があるんだ。ぜひ君にも見せてあげたくて。
Oh, sorry, I have something else I want to do today.
そうなの？だったら僕も付き合うよ。
I'd prefer to be alone, thanks. Don't worry about it.
そう。よくわからないけ
so
ど、
cute there.
僕の手が必要になったら声をかけて。
Yes. This is an abandoned. This entire colony has been abandoned and taken over by monsters who are ex-humans.
Thanks. I knew I was giving him the cold shoulder, but luckily Ibuki didn't seem too bothered.
I hope my acting was okay. It's harder than I thought to evade him without making it obvious I'm avoiding him. Yep. I snuck out while Ibuki was distracted and started looking for my destination, the house Ryo was visiting yesterday. I had no idea who lived there, but I wanted to try and get some kind of information from them. Oh yeah, we also found out that there are like actual humans living here too, not just us and Moravia's group. I remember it being around here somewhere. There it is, that building over there. That was the spot where I saw Ryo talking to someone. I wanted to see who lives there, but I hesitated, and then Ibuki interrupted me. But the second I started toward the building...
Yeah.
Why is Ibuki here? I turned to see Ibuki. Ibuki standing there, nonchalant as always.
こんなところで何しているの？
I was just taking a walk. I was looking for areas that might be good for Lise's rehabilitation once she can get up. He couldn't know the truth. I had to lie.
なるほどね。それなら、あっちに歩きやすい道があるから案内するよ。
Ibuki casually reached for my hand, but I yanked it away and stepped back.
Oh.
You'll show it to me? Thanks. So it's that way? I did not want him touching my hand. Okay, so I started walking at a fast pace, wanting to get some distance between us. Oh, man. This is either going to get real yandere or real yandere. One evening, a few days later.
美味しそうな匂いだね。今日のメニューはカレーかな。
ああ、いいスパイスが手に入ったんだな。
お先に食べてるよ。
あれ、彼女はここに来てないの
2人分持ってさっき帰ったぜ。部屋で食べるってな。
そう。
なんかいぶき元気ない？
Oh.
別にそんなことはないよ。でもなんとなくなんだけど、
I wonder.
最近彼女に避けられてるような気がするんだ。
I wonder, Ibuki. It's not like you told me you want to destroy humanity.
あまりちゃんと話してくれないし、すぐに目をそらされるし。
じゃあ避けられてるんじゃねえの？
Oh no.
やっぱりそうなのかな。
Oh, you think so too. Oh, he's why is he precious in this scene?
うわ、いぶきがへこんでる。珍しい。
He has a sad.
こら、そこではしゃぐな。
どうして避けられるんだろう。僕は何かしたのかな。
Well, I think they might give him good
知らねえ
advice.
が、食うならとっとと食え。あと
Oh
は
no.
あいつのことが気になるならしばらく様子でも見りゃいいだろう。
Yeah, well, that is kind of bad advice. Just go stalk her.
そのうち何か話すきっかけができるかもしれねえぞ。
Oh no.
きっかけ。
No, that's a
確か
horrible
にそうだ
idea.
ね。
Yeah, he kind of was already stalking us. Well, also, we are some of the, like, handful of actual people here.
ヒューガ、ありがとう。まさかこんなに役に立つアドバイスを聞けるとは思いもしなかったよ。
えへん。
Ahem.
なんでそこでお前が威張るんだ。しかも伊吹のそれ褒めてんのか？
様子を見るか。
Oh,
つまり
God.
見守るってことだね。
Oh god.
明日からは彼女に無理に近づかないで少し離れて見守ることにしてみるよ。
Yeah, oh.
頑張れいぶき。あとカレーおかわり。ヒュガ。
Oh my god, he's like a fucking teen girl.
たく、うまいんならうまいって言いやがるってんだ。
Oh, he wants to be complimented. They have their sweet spots. Unaware of the conversation by the fire, I carried the dinner trays back to the room. I'm back, Lise. I got dinner.
ありがとう。ってなんか疲れた顔してない？
I'm okay. Just a lot on my mind, I guess. Getting food requires me to be on high alert. I have to fetch it early to avoid Ibuki, then dash back so I don't run into him. I just hope I can keep this up. I need to avoid Ibuki until Lise's strength returns. I sat down in the chair, nursing that hope, when Lise spoke up.
ねえねえ、そういえばここ何日か昼間よくどこかに出かけてるよね。何してるの？
Oh, right, that. I guess I'm scouting around. Stuff like that, you know.
ふーん。
Actually, I'd been looking for secluded areas to practice my skills, just in case I needed to use them. I still can't hold my power steady, but I've kept that quiet so I don't worry, Lise. Never mind that. Oh, let's eat up before the food gets cold.
そうだね。いただきます。
This is the perfect storm of fuckery. Amazing. The next day, I snuck off to a private area to get some training done. I glanced around to make sure no one else was present. This spot should do for today. How far are we on this flowchart? Okay, we're doing pretty all right. And then status. Yeah, I'm going for both sync rate and affection up because I have no idea if I need to not do sync rate like I was not supposed to do my powers. I don't know. This spot should do for today. I think I already said that. Whatever. I didn't want Ibuki to track me down, so I'd been switching up locations whenever I went out to train. I think my psychokinesis has gotten a lot stronger since I started training. I was still bothered by how difficult it was for me to carry Lise when I first brought her to Tao. With my current strength, running like that would be impossible. I need to get much, much stronger. I focused on a rock laying on the ground and tried to levitate it with my mind. I'll raise it up nice and high, then slowly move it over there, and I practiced by picking up chunks of debris and holding them in the air as steadily as possible. I thought that I read that as hurling them as steadily as possible. I was like, okay, we're gonna throw Lise. No, I just misread it. Now that's what I need. My eye fell on a particularly large chunk of debris that was blocking the street. It looked like it could have been a wall once. Let me try moving that. I've never attempted to levitate anything that hefty before, so it should be great for my training. Besides, if I get it out of the way, it'll help the vectors move more freely too. Lift up. I focused my psychokinesis powers in one spot. The debris shifted and slowly rose up with a crunch. Yes, it's working. I just need to keep it steady and move it slowly. A nearby vector suddenly made a noise, breaking my concentration. My psychokinesis faltered, and all at once I felt the rubble's crushing weight. Panicked, I tensed up. The sudden jolt caused the chunk of rubble to shatter into pieces. One particularly large fragment hurtled at me. It's gonna hit me! I closed my eyes, bracing for impact when... Nothing hit me. And when I opened my eyes, I saw the chunk suspended in midair. It never even came near me. What the?
危ないところだったね。
You. Ibuki! My heart hammered when I saw him. I'd been working hard to avoid him. And here he was. But it should be fine. I was just strengthening my powers. I just hope he doesn't realize I'm training up for our escape. Ibuki lowered his raised hand, allowing the hunk of debris to come to a gentle rest on the ground.
大丈夫だった?
Thanks, I'm fine. I looked away, not wanting to give him a chance to see how flustered I was.
さっきは集中が乱れたみたいだったけど、何かあったの?
Yeah, a vector stepped on a block and the noise distracted me. I lost my concentration for a nanosecond, and I think I overcompensated by crushing the debris instead of lifting it.
ああ、なるほど。君が最初にサイコキネシスで移動させたあのブロックが原因か。
Huh? You saw that too? I moved the block a few minutes ago, so I had no idea how Ibuki knew I'd done that.
たまたまだよ。何にせよ、君に怪我がなくてよかった。でも、こんなところで何をしてたの？一人でサイコキネシスを使ったりして。
I was training. I'm working on building up my powers. I went ahead and said it. He already knew what I was doing, so hiding it was useless. Besides, it's not like training itself is suspicious.
超能力の特訓?
Ibuki gave me a curious look. I nodded. I've been thinking about how I want to improve, even if I'll never be as good as you.
あれ特訓だったのか。そういえば、研究所にいた頃、Yukinami とか似たようなことやらされてたな。
Oh, Yukinami trained too then. But the way Ibuki phrased that sentence makes it sound like he's never trained himself.
この頃君は僕を避けているのかと思ったけど、
Well, I have been.
もしかしてこっそり超能力の特訓をしていたの?
Well, yes and no. Yes and no. Uh-oh, he noticed I've been avoiding him. Well, of course he did. I keep rejecting his invitations to hang out. Yeah, I'm shy, so I wanted to keep it private. I'm gonna resume training now. Could I be left alone, please? I was trying to gently push him away, but Ibuki wasn't good at taking hints.
どうして?
I'll be nervous if you watch.
だけど、僕がアドバイスした方が早く上達するかもしれないよ。君の特訓のやり方は無駄が多くて、見ていてもったいないって思ったんだ。
Oh?
どうせやるなら、もっと効率よく鍛えた方がいいと思わない?
I mean, I guess so. I get what he's saying, but I'm scared. When he pressed me to make that decision, I realized his way of thinking is foreign to me. The fear I carried from that encounter was still fresh. At the same time, I could appreciate that his intentions towards me were nothing but friendly. My goal is to get Lise out of here, but I have no idea how to survive. I need to get stronger, and I can't afford to be picky about my methods. If I have to take advantage of someone's goodwill, then I'll just do what I have to. Okay then, will you be my teacher?
もちろんだよ。誰かの先生になるなんて初めてだな。
Ibuki looked genuinely pleased. I felt a twinge of guilt, but I have a hair in my mouth. But I quickly tamped it down. Ibuki came to stand beside me.
いいかい？君はすごくいい素質を持っている。でも、それを使いこなせていない。力の出し方に無駄が多いんだ。
Oh. I waste energy?
無意識だろうけど、君はいつも必要以上の超能力を出そうと力んでしまっている。
Oh.
実際に必要な力は少なくてよくてもね。そうすると、今度は力をセーブする方に神経を使うことになる。
Okay.
多分こっちも無意識のうちにやっているんだろう。例えるなら、小さなナイフを使えばいい作業をわざわざ大きな剣でやろうとするようなものだよ。
Okay. Those are some interesting metaphors. His explanation made sense. It was very likely I was wasting power. Okay, I get it. So I should try to use the filleting knife from the get-go. I won't waste as much energy that way, right?
そうだね。君が今みたいに荒削りな状態でもブルームズでやってこられたのは、もともとの才能があったおかげかな。
Yep.
君は器用なのかもね。
Okay. A prodigy? More like a liability. All I do is flail around and waste energy, apparently.
でも、こういう感覚的なことは、言葉で教えるのは難しいんだよね。
Yeah.
ああ、そうだ。いいことを思いついた。
Ibuki turned to face me and then grabbed me by the shoulders. What? What's going on?
いいから、じっとしていて。
Then Ibuki leaned in. His face loomed near mine, and I felt my cheeks heat up with a mix of embarrassment and fear. Is he going to? But what the? Huh? Ibuki bumped his forehead against mine. I was glad it wasn't a kiss, but I was still flustered. My heart thudding, I managed to squeak. What are you doing?
言葉で伝えられないなら、
Oh.
感覚でなら伝えられると思って。
Oh, that doesn't sound good either.
多分普通なら無理だけど、僕と君ならできるよ。
What? With that, Ibuki gazed deep into my eyes.
さあ、僕に意識を集中させて。超能力を効率よく使う感覚というのを君にも感じさせてあげるよ。
Oh, okay. I had no idea what he meant, but I did as he asked and started to concentrate. Focus on Ibuki. Focus. Focus. A few seconds later, the spot where Ibuki's forehead rested against mine began to tingle. I feel like I'm starting to see something. Suddenly, I could no longer sense my body.
そう。それでいい。僕だけを感じていて。
As Ibuki spoke, I was filled with a sensation that was impossible to describe. It was as if I was suddenly cognizant of my own capabilities. Wow. What's going on? I realized Ibuki and I had somehow become connected and were sharing the same sensation. Can we please not get this 5-second loop of the most ear-grating noises possible? I was able to understand what correctly using my powers actually felt like. The feeling was completely indescribable. So this is what he meant by sharing our senses. Okay, oh thank God it's done. I finally understood the sensation Ibuki had attempted to describe. He seemed to realize as much and pulled away.
どう？伝わったかな？
Yeah, it's not something I can put into words. Oh, I just realized I have to do one quick thing. There we go. Okay. It was as if the surrounding area seemed to whisk itself away, leaving pure energy behind. I get it. Thank you, Ibuki. I'm sure I can use my powers better now.
僕が君に伝えたのは感覚だけだから、まだ体がその感覚についていかないかもしれない。しばらくは慣れるための練習が必要だね。一人じゃ難しいと思うけど、僕も付き合うから安心して。
Oh, but I don't want to take up any more of your time.
君の手伝いを手間だなんて思わないよ。
Thanks. Ibuki gave me a big smile. I offered a stiff grin in return, one that was filled with fear and anxiety. I wanted to stay away, but he wouldn't let me. I could only thank him awkwardly. The next day, Ibuki started training me.
昨日、君はサイコキネシスで大きなものを浮かす特訓をしていたよね。それも鍛える方法の一つではあるんだけど、違うやり方の方が君に合っていると思う。
A different method? What is it?
見ていて。ここに落ちている石を浮かすよ。
Ibuki stretched out his hand, and one of the large rocks by our feet rose into the air weightlessly. It stopped once it reached eye level.
この石は僕のサイコキネシスで浮かせている。今からサイコキネシスを使うのをやめるから、君が代わりにこの石を浮かせてみて。
Huh? I really could have used more warning.
落としちゃダメだよ。
The second he finished speaking, the rock started to plummet. Ah, it's going down! I quickly called on my psychokinesis to keep the rock from falling to the ground. Then I gently raised it back to eye level as Ibuki had before. It caught me by surprise, but it turns out it's pretty easy to... I trailed off before I could finish the sentence. Huh? Holding the rock steady in the air like this is actually pretty difficult. Using psychokinesis to maintain a rock's height felt like a different kind of difficult to lifting and moving objects around. It's tough to keep this steady. If I keep this up, I feel like my nerves will start to fray.
わかったみたいだね。大きなものを動かす必要はない。これくらいの大きさのものでも浮かせ続けたり、細かく動かしたりする方が難しいんだ。力が足りなかったら落ちてしまうし、力を入れすぎても壊してしまうしね。
Okay.
例えば、この石を一日中自分の近くに浮かせておくというのも、
Oh.
超能力を効果的に鍛える方法だと思うよ。
All day? I was so taken aback by what Ibuki said, I accidentally let the rock tumble to the ground.
ああ、落としちゃったね。残念。
It's harder than I thought. I never knew this method of training even existed.
僕もしたことはないけど、こういうやり方もありかなって思ったんだ。
Gee, thanks.
というか、ブルームズではこういうことを教えてくれなかったの？
I don't know about the others, but they just threw me onto the battlefield to sink or swim. The commander's unreasonable requests now felt like a cluster of distant memories.
ふーん。結構行き当たりばったりな組織なんだね。
Anyway, I received basic training. They probably didn't have enough time to invest in me. I got a sinking feeling as I tried to make excuses, and ultimately, Ibuki was right. Right? I can't keep on fighting like a novice and relying on beginner's luck. Hey, Ibuki, I wanted to ask you something.
なんだい？
Are there other abandoned colonies besides this one? I didn't ask out of simple curiosity. Lise and I needed somewhere to go when we left. Otherwise, there was no point to the escape. We can't return to Theta. I'm not even sure if we can trust the commander. If we went back to Theta, the researchers would scoop Lise up and turn her into a test subject. Test subject. It's too dangerous.
ここ以外の廃墟のコロニーか。なんでそんなことを聞くの？
Oh, just curious. I was wondering if there are other colonies around where the Vectors can live peacefully. It was a shoddy excuse I pulled out of nowhere, but it was the right thing to say to Ibuki.
ああ、害獣を心配してるんだ。君は優しいね。廃墟になったコロニーはここ以外にもあるよ。規模は小さいけど、広範囲にいくつか点在している。ここから一番近いコロニーだと、北の方角に2日くらい進んだところかな。他には北西に進んだ先にもあるけど、こっちは5日くらいは歩かないといけないね。
2 days north, 5 days northwest.
でも、ここ以外のコロニーでは害獣は暮らしていないと思うよ。
Okay.
タウが特別なんだ。
I see. Thanks for the information.
他のコロニーが気になるなら、今度案内してあげるよ。さて、それじゃあ再開しようか。これからも地道に鍛えていけば、 きっと君はすごく成長できるはずだよ。
My eye itches. I've been wearing my glasses for the past couple hours. It's weird. I don't wear my glasses all the time. Oh, excuse me, why do I keep yawning? I don't wear my glasses all the time. They're kind of just like when my eyes hurt. I'm supposed to use them more when I'm on the computer and reading and stuff, but I don't. I'm bad about that. But my eyes were starting to hurt today, and I was like, I'll wear my glasses. Oh, hi, baby. Hi. Yeah, you can sit on that. You can get up in that chair. Oh my god. Kiki has never gotten up on that chair before. Okay, yeah, now she's jumping down. Okay, she was just sniffing around, figuring it out. Yeah, you can sit in there if you want. She's like, don't look at me. Don't look at me, mother. But yes, I've been wearing my glasses recently today, and I guess my eyes are still having a little not fun day.
まずはさっき落としてしまった石を10分間浮かせてみようか。
Okay, thanks, Teach. Thanks, Teach. I mean, I guess that's a way to translate arigato, sensei. After that, I worked on training my powers every day. I learned how to handle them better than ever under Ibuki's tutelage. Maybe Ibuki was one of those people who had an innate talent for teaching. Hi, apparently that's me too. But it was more than that. His close method of teaching made it easy to tell that he cared for me. To be honest, I actually found myself enjoying my daily training sessions with him. I sternly reminded myself not to let my guard down, but at the same time, I couldn't deny that I felt increasingly comfortable around him. Then one day.
それじゃあ今日は一つだけじゃなく、いくつかの石を同時に浮かせてみようか。それを1時間。
Okay, I'll give it a shot. I found 4 rocks nearby and used my psychokinesis to lift them from the ground. I think I could manage one more. Another rock gradually lifted into the air, joining the 4 that were already afloat. My powers were getting stronger, but levitating 5 rocks at once, well, that took some concentration. It's a little tough, but I think I can. I was suddenly struck by a wave of dizziness. Ugh. My concentration faltered and the rocks tumbled to the ground as I swayed back and forth.
大丈夫?
Before I keeled over, Ibuki reached out and wrapped his arms around me. Ibuki, sorry about that. I got lightheaded all of a sudden.
体に負荷がかかりすぎたみたいだね。いきなり石を5つは欲張りすぎたかな。今はまだ4つまでにしておいた方がいいよ。あまり無理をして倒れてしまったら元も子もないからね。
Yeah. Ibuki put his hands on my shoulders, guiding me to sit down.
僕は君を大事にしたいんだ。
Oh. Ibuki's tendency to say strange things continued unabated. I lifted my head to show that I was okay. That was a mistake. I saw kindness in his deep eyes, but there was something else that terrified me. His eyes are the same as on that day. I was hit by the same fear that nearly overwhelmed me when he asked me to choose between humans and the Vectors. Yeah, he was like, are you going to help the humans and be our enemy? Or are you going to stay with the Vectors and be humanity's enemy? And we were like, oh, I don't want to answer that question. Was this his true nature? I can't do this. If I stay here any longer, I feel like I might find myself agreeing with Ibuki's point of view. Would it be okay if I skip training today? I'm definitely feeling a bit worn out.
いいよ。部屋に戻って休むなら送っていくよ。
No thanks, it's okay. I can find my own way back, so please don't worry about me.
わかった。気をつけて帰るんだよ。
Okay. I waved to Ibuki and started strolling off, trying to act natural. Once I was a safe distance away, I hurried as fast as I could back to Lise. I can't be around him anymore. I need to grab Lise and escape. Well, that's not gonna go well. I'm gonna drop a quick save. And let's see where are we in the flowchart? We're still 3-2. Wow, okay. I undid my transformation and burst into Lise's room. Lise!
おかえりなさい。そんなに慌ててどうしたの？
Lise, we need to get out of here now. I was in a panic. All I could manage was that frenzy declaration, but Lise got the message.
そっか、わかったよ。
I had already warned Lise that I wanted to leave, so she just nodded calmly. I'm really sorry. I didn't want to leave until your strength had returned.
今がいいって君が判断したんだよね。だったら私はついてくよ。
Okay. Lise picked out the backpack she'd stalked in advance, took my hand, and smiled. It was already dark when we left the building. Though we couldn't see as well, the darkness offered the best chance of slipping away without Ibuki or the others seeing us. Lise and I hurried as fast as we could, heading for the colony's outer wall. Oh no, we're gonna get fucking caught right away. Lise, are you alright? She looks pale. I knew it was too soon for us to make a run for it, but I can't risk being around Ibuki any longer. I'd learned there was a colony 2 days walk to the north and another 5 days to the northwest. We had to head for one if we hoped to survive. The directions came from Ibuki himself, so no doubt he'd have an idea of where we were going. Still, we didn't have any other options. It's gonna be rough on Lise to travel in her condition. If I need to, I can carry her. Thanks to my training with Ibuki, I was confident I could control my powers. I was sure I could carry Lise if necessary. We passed a house staying by itself when... I flinched as the door flew open. Someone's over there. Have we been spotted? Wait a second! That's our uncle!
Who is that?
The man's wide eyes indicated that he was just as surprised to see two strangers in a place like this as I was to see him.
君は
Good evening.
I had no idea what to say, so I gave a standard polite greeting. He couldn't know the real reason we were out here.
We're just people who moved to this colony recently.
Even as I said it, I realized it was a dumb thing to say.
Telling him we moved here, won't that just make him even more suspicious? What I mean is that we,
慌てなくても大丈夫だから落ち着きなさい。
The man spoke in a calm, soothing voice as he looked between me and Lise.
こんな時間にどこへ行くのかな？
Well, I knew I had to choose my words carefully, but at the same time, it was a relief to talk to someone who seemed to be a normal human. I felt some of the tension leave my body.
Yeah, I love this voice actor's voice.
That's when I realized we were at the house I saw Rue come out of the other day.
He's kind of a villain. He voices a lot of villains. He's kind of typecast. But his voice is so good.
I meant to go back and find out who lives here, but I never did. So does that mean this guy was the same person Rue was talking to?
君の隣にいる彼女は友達かい？
Yes.
見たところ君の友達は具合が悪そうだ。こんな夜に出歩くべきじゃないように思うが、
Yeah.
どうだろう？
He had a point. Lise's breathing was labored and she'd undoubtedly gotten even paler. Lise! I pushed her to leave even though she hasn't recovered. I'm making it worse. Lise, I'm so sorry for asking you to leave. The stranger's remark might have saved Lise's life. I realized that if I continued my plan, Lise might not make it.
彼女は休ませた方が良さそうだね。ひとまず中に入りなさい。何か温かいものでも出そう。
Also, this is 100% our uncle. This is the exact same voice that was reading the emails from our uncle. Oh, wow, I just absolutely smacked the microphone. But the unexpected charity threw me for a second. Why was a stranger being so kind to us? I was suspicious. I was sure he had ulterior motive.
It's funny though, I've never met this guy, but the way he talks seems familiar somehow. His presence is weirdly reassuring too. I can't say how I know, but I'm sure he's not bad. I'll accept his offer. Lise really needs to rest, but I have to make sure I don't let my guard down. Thank you. That's very kind of you. I took a chance and leaned on the kindness of the stranger who, for some reason, I felt close to.
あれ今のって伊吹が連れてきたあの子たちおじさんのとこに何の用だろうまあいっか 僕には関係ないしね。
I'm glad Yukinami is such is so carefree. Not my circus, not my monkeys. The house was much nicer on the inside than on the outside. It was clean and well supplied, like the building Lise and I stayed in. It's well maintained and has a nice lived-in feel. In fact, the house just has a soothing atmosphere overall. There was no sign that anyone else occupied the place. The man seemed to be living alone. He invited Lise and I to sit at the table before disappearing into the adjacent kitchen and returning with some mugs.
二人とも疲れているようだ。まずはこれでも飲んで落ち着くといい。
The man held out steaming mugs of tea towards Lise and myself. We thanked him and sipped on the contents. That's delicious. Uh-oh.
なんかほっとするね。
We probably shouldn't be taking food and drink that we did not watch be prepared from random people we don't know in a dangerous area. Okay, well, it's fine. As the hot tea warmed us from the inside, I felt my tension thaw and melt away. How did this guy get his hands on tea leaves living out in the middle of nowhere? I wonder if he asked Rio to hook him up. Then another smell came wafting over the tea's fragrant steam. Huh? Something else smells good.
あ、君たちお腹は空いていないかな。残り物だけどスープがあるんだ。温めたからよければ食べるといい。
Soup, you said? My stomach's about to start an earthquake, but I don't want to impose. I looked sideways at Lise, who seemed to be thinking the same thing, but suddenly, our stomachs both growled loudly in unison. Lise and I both hung our heads, cheeks reddening. Oh, to be betrayed by our rumbling tumblies. How embarrassing. If it's not too much trouble, I'd love some soup.
私も。
Up, captions. Captions, come back. Why are they being doofy? Yeah, rumbly tumbly. I've got a rumbly in my tumbly. Okay, well, captions have decided to shit themselves. They'll come back eventually. There was no use in hiding our hunger. We asked for the food with voices barely above a whisper. The man smiled as he handed the warm soup in bowls. Ladled the warmed soup into bowls, which he handed to us.
さあ、召し上がれ。
Thank you very much.
ありがとうございます。
Lise, will you be alright?
それくらいは大丈夫だよ。お腹空いて食欲があるくらいだからね。
Thanks, Lise!
We both placed our hands together in appreciation before carefully spooning up the hot soup. This is so good! The soup was a consomme broth packed with plenty of vegetables and bacon. The well-balanced flavor was perfect. Yeah, Lise is adorable. The soup filled me up and left me feeling even more invigorated than the tea. This flavor, it's pretty similar to the soup Hugo made. But maybe Hugo made it and delivered a portion to this guy as well. Lise and I drank our soup down to the last drop. Yeah. That was wonderful. Thank you. Once my full belly cleared my head, I realized it was beyond dumb to drag Lise away from the colony. She was still sick. She could have died on the road. If this man hadn't stopped us and invited us in, we could have met with a terrible fate.
そちらのお嬢さんもさっきよりは顔色が良くなったみたいだね。
The man looked at Lise as he spoke.
でもまだ疲れているだろ。あちらのソファーで横になって休むといい。
でもそこまでしてもらうのは。
遠慮することはない。幸いここには私しか住んでいないし、場所はいくらでもあるからね。もしも君たちが先を急ぐんだとしたら、なおのこと今は休んだ方がいいのではないかな。
He knows we're trying to leave. Yeah, I'm glad there are no predators. Lise, what do you think?
そうだね。少し休ませてもらいます。
I helped Lise over to the sofa. She sighed with relief as she lay down. I'm so sorry. I pushed you too hard.
謝らないで。ねえ、それよりも Lise gestured for me to lean in, and I brought my ear down to her lips.
あのおじさん、いい人そうでよかったね。
Thanks, Lisa. That's my uncle.
Lise kept her voice low so that the man who was across the room couldn't hear.
君が悩んでることも、あの人なら相談に乗ってくれるんじゃないかな。私はあのおじさんのこと
Yeah.
信じていい気がするな。
Lisa.
Yeah, I feel the same way. If Lise and I both got the impression that the man was safe,
It was unlikely we were in a trap of some kind.
I'm gonna try talking to him. I'll wake you up if anything happens, but for now, rest up.
そうさせてもらおうかな。ほっとしたらなんだか眠くなってきちゃった。
Lise's eyelids drooped as she talked and she nodded off. Moments later, she was snoring gently. I took the blanket that was balled up at the end of the sofa and covered Lise with it. Then I returned to the man. Thank you for letting us rest here. I really appreciate it.
珍しい客人は大歓迎だ。私もこんなところに住んでいると、たまには他の人と話したくなるものでね。
His words made me think of Ryo. I guess Ryo doesn't count as a rare guest. That means Ryo was probably a regular visitor. But I felt like that wasn't the right time to ask about his relationship with Ryo.
さっきは驚いたよ。まさかこんな時間に君たちみたいな女の子がいるなんて思わなかったからね。君のお友達の様子を見て、尋常ではない事態が起きているようだとすぐに分かった。これは放っておけないと思ったよ。
It's a good thing you reached out to us. I needed to stop, calm down, and think things through. If we just run outside, my pre-soup actions.
Pre-soup and post-soup. PRS and yeah, pre-soup and post-soup. Pre-soup Prince was fucking crazy. Post-soup Prince has regained his brain. My pre-soup actions, God, that's still fucking cracking me up. Seemed more and more irrational as I reflected on them.
We're just total strangers, though. Why are you being so kind to us? The man chuckled at my question and shrugged as if to suggest that his aid was no big deal.
Yeah, do not interact while I am mid-soup.
誰かに親切にするのに理由なんているのかい？
I suppose not. All I knew about this man was that he lived in this house alone.
And he was clearly a good person.
But why is he so isolated? What's his connection to the Vectors? There was so much I wanted to ask. You said that you live alone, but how long have you been here?
Yeah, he told us he lives alone. But how do we know he's a good person? That was a guess on our part.
もうずいぶん長くなるね。十数年くらいかな。
So he'd been around for a while, and then some. I moved on to my next question. I think I saw you once. You were talking to Ryo Tomitsuka? What's he doing here?
ああ、彼には世話になっているよ。生活必需品を届けてもらったりしている。あとはシータの様子を聞かせてもらったりね。
Are you friends with Ibuki and the others? What about the Vectors?
別にそういうわけではないよ。けれど、彼らがどんな存在なのかは知っている。
I wonder if he's a researcher
だ
who
か
they
らこそ
fucking kidnapped.
私はここで暮らしているんだ。
Real works for Instacart.
I knew it. Anyone living out here had to be holding on to important information. So you know how the Vectors came about and all that? A man nodded slowly.
彼らは研究の失敗によって生み出された人間の罪深さの証のような存在だ。
I just found out recently myself about how the Vectors came to be. I mean, the man's calming aura made it easy to loosen up and release the burden that was everything I'd been carrying inside me. It's almost too terrible to believe. Failed experiments turning humans into Vectors. I never even knew it was happening. And then they drove the Vectors out, made people hurt, and killed them. They had no right. And then there's my part in all this. Now I was riled up, and I just wanted to continue ranting. But then I realized I only had a vague idea of what had really happened. I fell silent and pressed my lips together. The man studied me.
どうしたのかな？
Someone told me I was a special child. But when I think back on everything, nobody ever told me exactly what was going on. I decided it was a good idea to stop talking. This man seems like a good person, but I shouldn't discuss my parents with him. I don't even know what the experiments were about. Oh, that's right. We're a child of two. I believe we are a child of two experiments. Like, our mother was experimented on and our father was experimented on. The man watched me for a while as I sat quietly. Eventually he spoke.
お前が今この時にここへ来たのは
How the fuck do you know my
何かの
name?
運命なのかもしれないね。
Fate. Ibuki said something about fate, too. Wait a second. Something the man said struck me as odd, but it took a few moments to nail it down. How do you know my name? Neither Lise nor I had said our names while in the house, but the man used it with familiarity. Wait, did Ibuki and the others tell you? I was just guessing out loud. The man shook his head.
お前の名前はもちろん知っているよ。東雲さんのこともね。けれどそれは伊吹や富塚君に聞いたからではない。私だから知っていたんだ。
Who I am. The way he phrased it made something in my brain click into place. The man had been familiar from the start. The way he talked was particularly revealing. I felt like I'd heard him in the past, but not his voice, as strange as he seemed. There was something about his sentence structure. Oh, here we go.
誰かを信じて裏切られても責めるなと書いたけれど、できればそんなことにはなってほしくないと思っているよ。お前が心から信頼できる人に出会えることを祈っている。
My lips trembled as the realization slowly dawned on me. Are you Uncle Yashima? The man, that is Uncle Yashima, smiled and answered my question.
そうだよ。大きくなったな。
Yeah, I figured it out simply because of voice. My vocal acumen. I picked it out. Are you serious? Is it really you, Uncle? I'd been wanting to see him for so long. I was so overwhelmed I couldn't speak. How interesting that I found his way of talking and mannerisms so comforting. I must have subconsciously made the connection thanks to those emails. Uncle Yashima, jeez, this is such a shock. I don't even know where to start. I've been thinking forever about what I'd say to you if I ever actually got to meet you. Oh, I'm just so happy.
ああ、私も嬉しいよ。まさかこんな形で会えるとは思わなかった。
My heart beat fast. My heart beat fast with the joy of bumping into someone I thought I'd never meet. At the same time, I had a few nagging doubts. But what are you doing here, Uncle Yashima?
それを説明するには、最初から事の始まりから話さなくてはならない。
Was I supposed to do this route last? I feel like I'm about to have a lot of secrets unveiled to me.
お前が気になっているであろう、お前の両親のことも含めてね。
I will say, because I've heard this man's voice in animes before, he's Mori Ogai in Bungo Stray Dogs. That's where that's the place that I know his voice from most readily. I think that whoever they got to do the sound recording for this game gave everyone the worst microphones and the worst acting direction, because I've heard this man sound fucking delicious. Why is that? Why is that the adjective that my brain came up with? I've heard this man sound like deliciously crisp and smooth and like good vocal recording. This is not that. There was something happened with the recording studio that they used to record these lines. My parents?
すべてを知る覚悟は
Yeah, I guess I should
あ
have
る
been.
かい。
I guess I should have done this route last, but lay it all on me. Uncle, hold on. Ugh. Honestly, I'm a little afraid. When I found out that my mom and dad were test subjects, it really hurt. But if I want to know anything, I have to be willing to know everything. I can't live the rest of my life with only half the picture. Tell me. Tell me everything you know, Uncle Yashima. Uncle Yashima nodded, detecting my resolve. He cleared his throat and began.
さて、何から話せばいいものか。あれはもうだいぶ昔のことだ。
It's so fucking hot in my apartment. I think I've messed up my thermostat. Give me 1 second. I am like drenched in sweat. I'm playing a visual novel. I should not be getting so fucking sweaty. I return with a blessed hiccup. Oh, and a second one. Okay.
もともと私は研究エリアで働く研究員の一人だった。
Oh my.
専門は遺伝子工学。
Oh.
担当していたのは環境適応プロジェクト。
Oh, you were in charge of it.
人類の存亡をかけた研究として、その内容を知るシータ上層部からは多くの期待がかけられていた。当時の私はプロジェクトの管理者を任されていて、部下にはまだ新人だったマサキもいたよ。
Wait, that's Masaki. Wait, no, you mean the commander? It never crossed my mind that Uncle Yashima and the commander could be connected, much less as a boss and subordinate. It's a small world after all. Like really small. Well, yes.
まあ、コロニー内の限られた人間関係なんだ。そんなものだよ。話を続けよう。環境適応プロジェクトは手探りで進められた。いわば実験場のようなものだった。
Okay, so no, Uncle Yashima. So Uncle Yashima was the head of the project of the genetic experimentation project that created the vectors and the magical girls. It was supposed to be to make humanity so that they could survive outside of the colonies in the fucked up wasteland that currently is Earth. Apparently, the leader of the Blooms, the commander, worked on that project under Uncle Yashima.
環境改善に取り組むプロジェクトは以前から行われていたが、成果は芳しくなかった。表向きは環境改善のプロジェクトを継続しているように装い、実際には人間の遺伝子を操作するという倫理に基る実験を行っていた。
Quite literally, CRISPR babies taken to the extreme. Nope. Same commander.
今の世界の過酷な環境下でも生きていける人間を人工的に作り出そうとしていたんだ。
Gotcha.
と、この辺りまではお前も伊吹から聞いたのではないかな。
Yeah, Ibuki said that my parents were test subjects for that research.
ああ。選考基準については割愛するが、被験者は過酷な環境でも生きられるよう、生まれる前に遺伝子を操作された。
So they were some of the first CRISPR babies.
どれだけ非人道的なことをしているかは自分でも分かっていた。
Uncle might not be a bad guy. The whole time I was like, our uncle's gonna turn out to be a bad guy. He might not be a bad guy.
Uncle Yashima looked stricken, clearly haunted by lingering regrets.
遺伝子を操作し、人間となるはずだった存在の命をもてあそんだ挙句、失敗して害獣になれば廃棄するなど許される行いではない。しかしプロジェクトから降りることは許されなかった。私は苦悩と罪の意識に苛まれ、精神的に追い詰められていった。ある時から私は心の苦痛を和らげようと、害獣は初めから人間ではなかったのだと言い聞かせた。逃避したのだよ。
It sounded terrible, but I didn't blame Uncle Yashima. After all, what could one person do? The research was supposed to help humankind, but all it did was leave behind twisted, broken lives. It was the picture of devastating futility.
だが、現実から目を背ける以外にも、私の心を救ってくれる存在があった。成功例として生み出された者たちだ。成功例の存在は、この研究が間違っていないのだと証明してくれている気がした。その中で特に目をかけていた2人がいた。
Oh.
それがお前の両親だよ。
My parents. My fists clenched when they were brought up.
あの2人に人間としての名前はなかった。
Oh.
実験体105号、実験体037号が彼らを識別する番号だった。
Oh.
They weren't even given human names. So Ibuki was telling the truth. Thinking about the degradation made my blood boil.
彼らとはなんだか馬があって、私たちはよく話をするようになった。その時に名前がないのは不憫だと思ってね。
Oh.
今日からお前たちのことを東郷、そしてサナと呼ぼうと思う。
東郷。
サナ
105から東郷、037からサナ。つまらない語呂合わせかもしれないが、お前たちの
Oh.
人間としての名前だよ。
Gotcha. I see how they tried to localize that.
東郷。うん。東郷か。いい名前だな。
私の名前サナですって。嬉しい。ねえ東郷、私の名前を呼んでみて。
サナ。なんか照れるな。
Aw.
照れないでよ。これからはたくさん呼んでもらうことになるんだからね。
Oh god. Oh my.
2人は自分の名前を喜んでくれたよ。
I see. Thank you for naming them. Hearing that it made them happy makes me feel better.
東郷とサナは第一世代と呼ばれるプロジェクト発足初期に生み出された数少ない成功例だった。
Okay.
彼らは非常に優秀で、コロニーの外でも長時間活動できたし、
Oh.
超能力も桁外れに強かった。
I latched onto that sentence. Hold on, superpowers? My parents had them too?
そうか。伊吹には聞いていなかったんだな。超能力というものは、プロジェクトで遺伝子操作を行った過程で偶然発現した力。
Oh.
A byproduct. Everyone acted like my powers were a totally normal thing, so I never thought to question it. I remember Ibuki telling me the Bloom's members were all born in labs from the same research. The heavy thought now weighed even heavier.
研究エリアの立ち入り禁止区域の中には小さな町のようなところがあって、その中では被験者たちは好きに過ごしていた。被験者に余計なストレスを与えては実験に支障をきたすと抗議して、私が上層部に掛け合って作らせたんだ。
Okay, so our uncle is a good guy.
隔離された空間ではあるが、被験者への最後の良心としてプライバシーは守られていたよ。
It's good to know they had something resembling a human life.
お前の両親はプロジェクト全体でも大いに期待されていた。だがそれとは関係なく、私は二人の明るく前向きな人柄に惹かれていた。あのような環境で生まれ育ち、ああいう人柄になったのは奇跡だよ。
Wow. Yeah, honestly, to be born in a research lab and to be treated below human and to still be super positive and upbeat, that is kind of a miracle.
私たちは友人としていい関係を築けていたと思う。プロジェクトの管理者としても、私は二人の状態に常に気を配っていた。ところが、ある時を境に、二人の超能力が弱まっていることに気がついたんだ。二人は互いに恋をしていたんだ。
My heart jumped in surprise at that four-letter word. I couldn't begin to guess what kind of effect falling in love would have on their lives. Uncle Yashima clued me in.
恋をすると超能力は弱まってしまう。詳しいメカニズムはまだ解明されていないがね。
That's a lovely hand wave there.
I was reminded of something the commander told me when I joined the Blooms.
Yeah, don't fall in love.
それからブルームズの任務に支障が出る恐れがあるので、恋愛は禁止です。
So it had nothing to do with getting in the way of our duties. It was about our powers being weakened. Did they separate my mom and dad then? The researchers were callous. Surely they tore my parents apart. But Uncle Yashima responded to my worried look with a reassuring smile.
このことが他の研究者にバレないよう、私が少しばかり細工をしたからな。それまでの成功例たちには、恋心を抑制することを強いてきた。だが私は、あの二人にそんなことはできなかった。二人の恋を禁じるには、私はすでに東郷とサナに肩入れしすぎていたのだ。それで、
Oh, whoops. Uncle Yashima trailed off for a moment, a pain look crossing his face.
第一世代は例外なく短命であることがすでに明らかになっていた。
Oh. Short life expectancies.
第一世代は超能力が発現した後は肉体に負荷がかかりすぎるため長くは生きられなかったんだ。
Oh, yay! Great! So they have superpowers and it kills them.
実験体としてそれまで大した自由も与えられずに生きてきた2人がようやく手に入れたのが恋心という心の自由だった。
Uh-huh.
それすらも奪うなど私にはとてもできなかった。
Oh my, oh my. So what happened to them?
しばらくは幸せそうにしていたよ。私はプロジェクトの管理者という立場を最大限活用して2人の恋を応援した。
Okay, I mean, at least they got to stay together.
東郷とサナに関する実験は私が行い、
Oh.
データもすべて私が管理した。
Oh, so he fudged the numbers.
さらにその上で他の研究者たちに見つからないよう極力2人に自由を与えるようにしていた。 あの
Oops.
あの2人の
His
命
voice
は
actor is
短い。
typecast.
できる限りのことはしてやりたかった。
Oh, no.
So-
One day.
ヤシマ、サナのことで相談があるんだ。
どうしたんだ、そんな深刻そうな顔をして。
Yeah, I did.
私、なんていうか。
俺から言うよ。実はサナが妊娠したみたいなんだ。
それは本当か？
多分。ごめんなさい、ヤシマ。私のせいで迷惑を。
Oh.
いや、悪いのは俺だ。
Well, yeah,
Sanaは悪く
kind
な
of.
い。
It kind of is his fault, but
落ち着きなさい、2人とも。誰も悪くない。悪くないのだから。
aw, that's me.
愛し合う男女が一緒にいるのだ。いつかはこうなることもあるかもしれないと私も頭の片隅で考えてはいた。
Yeah, they loved each other.
それまで2人の関係は他の研究者たちには隠してきた。
Okay.
東郷とサナは完全に超能力を失ってしまい、
Ugh.
事態が明るみに出るのも時間の問題だった。
Yikes.
そこで私はサナのお腹が大きくなってくる前に
Oh.
秘密裏に2人を逃がすことを決意した。
Oh.
その際に手を貸してくれたのが
What?
まさき。
The commander?
まさきは私の計画に気づき協力を申し出てくれた。
Oh. Oh.
ヤシマ先輩、一人でそんな計画を立てるなんて水臭いじゃないですか。僕も一枚噛みますよ。前からこの研究には嫌気がさしていましたしね。こんな大掛かりな計画、ヤシマ先輩一人じゃ到底無理だと思いますけどね。僕の手を借りておいて後悔はさせませんよ。
下手をすれば研究者人生を絶たれることになるだろうが
Oh my.
協力してくれるか、まさき。
Okay, commander.
もちろんですよ。僕はあなたの管理者としての統率力、研究者としての才能を尊敬しています。何より非人道的なプロジェクトの中にあって人間臭さを失わずにいるあなたのことが人間として好きなんですよ。
Oh, okay.
人間臭さか。それはお互い様のようだな。
Wow. Okay, I wasn't expecting that.
私は誰かに慕ってもらえるほどの人間ではないが、東郷とサナを逃がすには信頼できる協力者が必要だった。
Uh-huh.
ありがたく申し出を受けたよ。
I can't believe the commander did that. I dismissed the commander as an airheaded goofball. Maybe I should have tried having a serious talk with him.
あいつはひょうひょうとしてつかみどころがないように思えるかもしれないが
Read my
あれでい
mind.
て熱い男なんだよ。
Wow.
まさきの手助けもあり、私は2人を研究エリアから逃がすことに成功した。
Wow.
2人が外で暮らすために必要な環境を整え、
Oh.
戸籍も偽造した。お前の高梨という名字も
Mule.
私が考えたものだよ。
Oh, you gave me my name? I've always liked it. Uncle Yashima chuckled, clearly pleased. Then he continued with his story.
東郷とサナは居住エリア内の静かな環境で束の間の幸せな生活を送っていた。
Uh-huh.
思えばその時が家族3人で過ごせた唯一の時間だったな。
Oh no. Intense feelings suddenly surged through me to know that I'd been loved by my parents.
サナはしばらくしてお前を出産したが、それから間もなく命を落としてしまった。
Oh.
そして後を追うように東郷も。
Oh.
ヤシマ、最後に頼みがある。
Oh.
あの子、俺とサナの娘をどうか頼む。もしもあの子が俺たちと同じ目にあったらと思うと。
お前が言いたいことは分かっている。無理して喋るな。あの子は第一世代の、しかも特に優秀だったお前たち2人の間に生まれた子供だ。
Oh God.
生まれつき超能力を持っていたとしてもおかしくない。もしそうなれば、お前たちと同じように研究者たちは実験材料とみなすはずだ。それをお前は心配しているのだろ。
Oh my.
そんなことはこの私がさせはしない。
Oh.
だから安心しなさい、東郷。
Oh.
ありがとう、ヤシマ。あの子には自由に生きてほしい。
Oh.
私は2人から託されたお前を守り、無事に育て上げることを誓った。
Mom, Dad. I never met my parents, but knowing I'd been born into a loving family made me so happy my eyes welled up with tears.
彼らの最後の願いを叶えるため、私は奔走した。
Uh-huh.
もちろん上層部に目をつけられないよう慎重にな。第一世代の子供という存在は他にいなかったから、
Uh-huh.
生後間もないお前をまずは注意深く検査する必要があった。その結果、超能力の兆しはないことが判明した。
Okay.
これなら普通の子供として生活していけると一安心した。
Yeah, I mean, we did live as a normal child for a very long time.
だが仮に超能力がなくとも、第一世代の子供は非常に興味深い研究対象となるだろう。
Mhm.
私自身研究者だったから彼らの思考回路がよくわかる。
Mhm.
お前の身元は巧妙に隠す必要があった。
Mhm.
その上で私が後見人として預かっている両親のいない子供ということにして
Okay.
養護施設に預け、その後学園の寮に入れたのだ。
Okay.
お前を養護施設に預けたのと同時に、私はプロジェクトの管理者を辞した。東郷とサナの失踪については正樹の助けも借り、
Okay.
シータ街への脱走で足取りを終えず生死不明という処理を行った。
Oh, okay. So the commander really has been like on our side this entire time. He's just also been shady as fuck. I felt a wave of gratitude towards the commander. Seems like he'd always had a talent for subterfuge.
プロジェクトの管理者を辞した私はそのまま研究エリアを去り、残りの人生はお前を見守ることに専念しようと決めた。だが私がシータにいたのでは、お前の両親が失踪した件を再び蒸し返されて、かえってお前の生活を脅かしかねない。
Uh-huh.
だから私は移住することを決めた。
Aww.
私がこれまでに多くの害獣たちを送り込んできたこのコロニーにね。せめてシータ内でお前を助けてやれるよう、私の代理人を正樹に頼もうと思っていたら、
Aww. He really loves us. Aw.
というわけで僕も研究職を辞めることにしました。もう研究はコリゴリかなって思ったんですよ。それで今度はもっと人と触れ合えるハートフルな仕事に転職したいと考えてるんですが、学校の先生なんかどう思いますか？
His expression! Oh.
So that's the reason the commander became a teacher? Uncle Yashima nodded as I sat dumbstruck.
まさきは私に代わってお前をすぐ近くで見守れるように学園の教師になることにしたのだよ。シータ内で見守ってくれればと私が頼もうとしていたことを私が望んだ以上の形で叶えてくれた。お前とのメールのやり取りもまさきに転送してもらって可能になっていた。
Oh.
元部下とはいえ頭が上がらないな。
Oh. I had no idea. Uncle Yashima and the commander have been looking out for me this whole time. My chest swelled with emotion and my eyes burned. The tears I'd tried to hold back brimmed over. I was loved by my mother and father. They risked everything to bring me into this world. My parents, the commander, Uncle Yashima, they always made sure I was taken care of. I had no idea how blessed I was. Thank you, Uncle Yashima.
But Uncle Yashima shook his head, a sad look on his face.
私たちはお前を守りきれなかった。お前が超能力に目覚めることを許してしまったのだから。お前は生まれつき超能力を使える遺伝子を持っていた。それは本来なら目覚めるはずのなかった遺伝因子だ。だが害獣に傷つけられて、傷口から入った害獣の遺伝情報がお前の遺伝子を揺さぶり起こしてしまった。
Gotcha.
That's why my powers came out of nowhere. Everything was making sense now. My ability to use superpowers was passed down from my parents.
あのような危険からお前を遠ざけたくてずっと見守っていたというのに力が及ばずにすまなかった。
Uncle Yashima leaned forward and looked down at the ground gloomily, but I shook my head. Don't apologize. I'm grateful for you, Uncle Yashima. My own reckless behavior is what led me to getting attacked by that vector.
And really, these powers of mine, they're not all bad. It was my powers that allowed me to save Lise, and they led me here where I finally discovered the truth about myself. I know my mom and dad wanted to keep me from all this, but it's already brought me some good fortune. You have to take the good with the bad. Uncle Yashima's eyes widened as my words sank in. He straightened himself and smiled.
お前はちゃんと両親が願った通り、自分の心に従って自由に生きているよ。今のお前を見れば、トーゴとサナも喜ぶことだろう。
Oh, thank you. My chest filled with a fuzzy warmth. I felt like my parents were praising me themselves.
こうして直にお前の笑顔を見られる日が来るなんて夢のようだ。運命というのも残酷なばかりではないのかもしれない。
Aww.
しかしお前がここに来た時は驚いたよ。ずいぶん慌てた様子だったが、何があったんだ？
I hesitated for a moment, unsure if I should discuss the matter. Then I realized there was no longer any reason to hide anything from Uncle Yashima. It's Ibuki. He's frightening me. He helped me save Lisa. He even gave her the antibody shot to prevent her from turning into a vector. He said he knew my parents, and he says he met me when I was a baby too. But then he started asking who deserved to live in the world more, humans or vectors, and he wanted me to decide. That's when I started getting scared. I mean, there's no way I can make that kind of decision. I'm not a god. How can I make a choice that involves so many lives?
そうか。伊吹がそんなことを。
That's when I decided to ask something that had been on my mind since Ibuki and I talked. Ibuki said that I was a special child. Is it because I'm the child of Generation 1s?
What? What? Hold on. That actually doesn't make sense. This. Wait. What is this choice? I'm not special, or must I give him an answer? Okay, quick saving here.
Must I give him an answer? Do I really need to give him an answer?
それは伊吹のためかい？
I don't know, but there must be some reason why he wants me to decide. And I want to know that reason. Why would Ibuki ask me something like that? Why would he say I'm special?
Uncle Yashima was silent for a moment before speaking again.
私にも伊吹の考えはわからない。
Okay.
だが彼の生い立ちについてはそれなりに知っているつもりだ。
Oh, are we gonna get his background? Also, I'm gonna drop another save because I'm gonna check the flowchart here. The flowchart has fucked us in the past. Flowchart has absolutely broken the game. So, oh wow, we're already at 4-2. Holy shit. Okay.
私が知る限りのことを
I think we might be
お
able to
前に
finish
話そ
this.
う。
Okay. It's Ibuki backstory time.
う
Uh-oh.
ん
Uh-oh.
ここにもいない。特訓の時みたいにすぐに見つけられると思ったんだけど、あの子どこに行ったんだろう。ああ、雪並みちょうどよかった。
Oh no.
あれ、伊吹だ。どうしたの？
彼女を探しているんだけど
Uh-oh.
見なかった？
あの子ならしばらく前に見たよ。なんか親友とか言ってたやつも連れてさ。それであそこに入っていったよ。
あの人の家か。
気になるなら行ってみれば？今もいるか知らないけどね。
Uh-oh.
そっか。彼を訪ねたんだ。あの子が全てを知るならそれでいいか。その上で決めてくれれば。
Memory of her smile flashed through my mind. She looked so happy when she did well at her training.
あの子が全てを知った時、どんな顔をするだろう。
Mm.
あの笑顔が曇ってしまうとしたら、僕は。
Well, wait, how are we? We're only at 75%.
伊吹は確かに東郷やサナとの面識があった。
We're only at 75%. Okay, I guess there's 2 more decisions in this tree. In this thing. Okay. Okuyashima looked down at his teacup, narrowing his eyes as he searched the past.
被験者同士の接触は特別な理由がない限り制限されてはいなかった。あの頃はまだ幼い子供だったが、伊吹は抜きん出た才能を持っていた。
Uh-huh.
東郷が大した子だと感心していたな。
Okay.
だが東郷とサナが研究エリアから逃げ出した後に生まれたお前とは
Yeah.
本当なら伊吹は会ったことはないはずだ。とはいえ伊吹が会ったと主張するならきっと本当に会ったことがあるのだろう。
Oh, okay.
彼
He,
にはそれが可能なだけの力がある。
can he fucking teleport?
I've seen Ibuki's powers. They're amazing, but are they really that strong?
ああ。お前の両親は第一世代だと教えたね。それに対して伊吹は第二世代だ。第一世代と第二世代は長所もあったが、それ以上に深刻な副作用の方が多かった。
Okay.
例えば第一世代は短命だったり、第二世代は
Oh.
超能力が暴走して害獣化してしまうことが多かったりね。
I nodded slowly. It hurt to hear that both generations suffered such terrible conditions.
だがそんな第二世代でも特筆した能力を見せたのが伊吹だ。
Uh-huh.
A quirk? You mean how he can turn into Moravia?
その通り、性別が逆転してしまうんだ。
Not that it ever
もっ
seemed
と
to
も
bother
伊吹
him.
は特に気にしていないようだがね。
Born gender fluid.
Nothing much ever seems to bother Ibuki. I think I'd have a hard time switching back and forth between genders, though.
I wouldn't.
その能力の高さは東郷やサナオも超えていて、研究者たちはプロジェクトが作り出した最高傑作だともてはやしていた。
Mm-hmm.
あの浮世離れした雰囲気とも相まって、
Whoops. Oh, God. He was a god. Oh. Some people thought he was a god. Well, okay, that does explain a fair bit about him.
Speaking of which, when we ran from the research district with Lise, Ibuki was Moravia. Thanks to Moravia's help, I was able to escape Theta without anyone stopping us. If Ibuki used to be a test subject, then it made sense that he was able to guide us for a smooth escape. Why did Ibuki go see my mom and dad, though?
伊吹が高い能力を持つ東郷たちに共感し、自分に近い存在だと認識していたとすれば、思い入れも強かったのだろう。その思い入れの強さが二人の
Oh, God bless it. I keep hitting the things. My right shoulder is bothering me again. All right. That makes sense why he would call me a special child if I am the child of his like best friend. Because I was Generation 1. No, wait, because I was Togo and Sana's child.
いや、伊吹がそこまでこだわるのなら、すでにお前という個人に興味が移っているのかもしれない。本当の気持ちは伊吹にしかわからないがね。
How Ibuki really feels. What was going through his head? I really wanted to know. Now that I knew more about the circumstances of my birth, I felt ready to at least try to understand him.
私は伊吹との接点が多かったとは言えない。だが私が最後に伊吹を見た時の印象は今でも覚えている。孤独だ。
Alone.
能力が高く、最高傑作と研究者たちから崇められる一方、
Yep.
伊吹という一個人を見る者は誰もいなかった。
Okay.
やがて伊吹は害獣化した被験者が起こした暴走事故のどさくさに紛れ、そばにいた雪波を連れて施設から脱走した。このコロニーで伊吹と再会して真っ先に思ったよ。ああ、あの頃と目だけは変わっていないとね。どこか達観していて、自分たちと同じ高さでは物事を見ていないような、
Yeah,
そ
we
ん
know
な
that
眼
look.
差しだった。
I knew exactly what he meant. Ibuki's eyes were filled with ethereal light, yet somehow sad. Whenever he fixed those Fae-like eyes on me, something inside me stirred.
正直、伊吹が脱走したこと自体には驚かなかった。彼の能力の高さを考えれば、我々の力では本気になった彼をとどめておくことなど不可能だ。しかし私は不安になっていった。一つは、伊吹が同じ第二世代である雪波を一緒に連れてきたこと。
Gotcha.
もう一つは、このコロニーにやってきてから、たちまち害獣たちを手なずけてしまった様子を目の当たりにしたからだ。
Yeah, he kind of took over real fast.
伊吹は何か私たちにとって良くないことをするつもりなのではないか。そんな不安をいつも抱えていた。
Uncle Yashima let out a quiet sigh, signaling the end of our long talk. Thank you for telling me all this, Uncle Yashima.
礼を言うのはこちらの方だ。私も誰かに話したかったのかもしれない。それにお前の話を聞いて合点がいったよ。伊吹は孤独ゆえに自分の思いつきや考えにとらわれているのだ。
So you mean he's been alone for so long his radical ideas seem reasonable to him?
容赦ない表現だな。
Yeah.
だがそうとも言えるのだろう。
I mean, Occam's razor, the simplest reason, is most likely the one.
伊吹は確かに人間離れしているが、だからといって人間や害獣の命運を決める権利はないし、それをお前に託すのもおかしい。
Hmm.
私自身、過去の行いを思えば、後ろめたさがある。人間が正しいとか、人間こそがこの世界で生きるのにふさわしいなどとは言えない。
Yeah, but that doesn't mean we deserve to be fucking wiped off the planet.
だが、どちらが正しくてどちらが間違っているなどという極端な結論を出そうとする思考こそ、伊吹のおごりなのだ。
I nodded vigorously. After talking to Uncle Yashima, I get why Ibuki fosters such extreme ideals, but I don't agree with him.
どうか頼まれてほしい。伊吹が神でも何でもなく、あくまでも一人の人間なのだと、彼に気づかせてやってくれないだろうか。
Me, but...
もちろん伊吹が望む結論を出す必要はない。だが彼を変えることができるとすれば、おそらくお前を置いて他にいないだろ
I'm not sure if I could really do that. I was afraid, but I didn't want to abandon Ibuki. That fear was at odds with my sense of responsibility. If I turn my back on him now, his thoughts might become more and more warped until he does something that's bad for everyone.
We gotta fix him.
He wanted me to make the decision, but that won't stop him from acting on his own. All right, I'll give it a try. I'm not sure if I can convince him, but I can't just walk away from him either. Talking to him is better than leaving him.
う。すまないな。お前にばかり重いものを背負わせてしまっている。
I don't mind taking on responsibility. Blessings. It's a lot of work, yeah, but I'm not alone. Everyone has to go through tough times. And a lot of people have always had my back. I know that now, and it's my turn to take care of everyone. I was just being honest about how I felt, but Uncle Yashima absorbed my speech with a grin.
そうか。頼もしくなったな。
I smiled back, then glanced over at the sofa before asking Uncle Yashima a favor of my own. Uncle Yashima, can I ask you to look after Lise for me?
もちろんだよ。責任を持って預かろう。
Thank you. That'll give me peace of mind. I'm gonna try to talk to Ibuki one more time. You're right, I may be the only one who can reach him. Well. Okay. Here we go.
Okay, I'm gonna drop another save. Oh man.
After spending the night at Uncle Yashima's place, I departed the next morning in search of Ibuki. I had a feeling he'd find me first. Sure enough, he was also looking for me. And so, we found each other.
やあ、ヤシマに会ったんだね。
Yeah, so I guess you knew where I was. Ibuki nodded slightly. Apparently, Yukinami saw us enter Uncle Yashima's house.
どうだった？彼のところでいろんな話を聞いたんだろ？君のためになったんじゃないかな。
Yeah, I learned about my mom and dad, about my birth, about the creation of vectors, the research, and about you, Ibuki. It was a big surprise, a shock even, but a lot of things make sense now. I was able to think it all through for myself. Ibuki seemed pleased to hear me say as much, but now his gaze became expectant.
待っていたよ。ようやく君の答えを聞かせてくれるんだね。
Nope.
Do I get to finally hear your answer?
Nope. I'm not going to answer your question. I want to know more about you and me. What is a special child? I've been thinking about what it means to be a special child. I might have figured it out. After all, you're a textbook example of one. Ibuki's eyes widened in surprise the second he heard what I said. You were the researcher's #1 specimen. They treated you like a special child all your life. When I heard about that, I realized something. Being special was a curse. It bound you, and you've been imprisoned ever since.
面白い考え方だね。
I paused for breath before launching into my question. Hey, tell me something. How would you classify yourself? Would you say you're human? Or are you a vector?
僕はどちらでもないよ。
But you still think of yourself as a special child.
特別なのは君の方だよ。僕じゃない。
Don't lie. You know you're different. If you didn't, you wouldn't even be thinking about things like who deserves the world. The way you agonize over the future makes it obvious you see yourself as some kind of special existence, even if you're not aware you're doing it. Ibuki's face grew pale as my words hit home. Yeah, self-reflection, bitch! You're human. I think you're a human, Ibuki.
僕は
You can say that you're neither human nor vector, but I can sense you still have a human heart. You're not alone, Ibuki.
Aha!
僕が
Aw.
一人じゃない。僕が人間？
For the first time, something akin to emotion started to churn behind Ibuki's eyes. My talk with Uncle Yashima made me realize that the light in Ibuki's eyes wasn't alien or ethereal. The only thing there is deep loneliness.
Oh. Okay.
In an instant, Ibuki transformed into Moravia and lifted one hand towards me.
僕が人間だなんて本当にそう思うの？
Yeah? Oh.
I didn't have time to be shocked. I slid sideways and Moravia's attack stared past me.
こんな能力があるのに人間だって本当にそう言い切れるの？
ねえ、本当に？
What? Okay. Okay, we're still going.
Ibuki's deep distress seemed to throw him out of balance. He kept flickering between Ibuki and Moravia. He probably wasn't aware it was happening. He was just flinging psychokinetic attacks at a fury. Ibuki, stop it! Please calm down! But my words didn't seem to reach him. He continued to unleash powerful blows as though he'd been overtaken by violent emotion. The attacks were like the howling of a wounded soul, and they made my heart ache.
ねえ、僕が本当に人間だというのなら、君が僕を倒してみせてよ。
Ibuki?
君は人間なんでしょ。もしも人間の君が僕に勝てたなら、僕も自分が人間だって認めることにするよ。
Okay, I don't follow that logic, but
僕が何者なのか君が決めて。
He's shifted to Moravia. He intends to go all out. Moravia took on a battle stance before I could even respond.
行くよ。
Moravia's attacks became fiercer until I was in danger of being completely overwhelmed. I wouldn't be able to dodge for long. I don't want to fight Moravia, but at this rate. I scrambled to remember what I'd started learning, then unleashed my psychokinesis.
へえ。自分のサイコキネシスをぶつけて僕のサイコキネシスを相殺したのか。やるね。
I was trained well.
じゃあこれならどうかな。
A storm of projectiles zipped in my direction. She was toying with me. I was at a loss. In the blink of an eye, I was covered in wounds. This isn't working! I thought I was gonna hiccup there. There we go. How am I supposed to have a chance against Ibuki? I mean Moravia. I wanted her to understand, but I wasn't getting through. Just when I was sure it was all over.
大丈夫。
Cody? I heard a familiar voice. I heard familiar voices. Voices that shouldn't be here. I whirled around. Oh! Oh, shit. That's not good. Shit.
This is the normal end. Okay, so I did have to go all the way.
What? Oh, my sync rate. So I did have to have both all the way up. Shit. Remember, Bossy wary, draw back safe distance. Call the others, ring out to me, bring size.
なんとか間に合ったみたいだね。
Just what are you all doing? What are you all doing here?
助けに来たに決まってるやろ。思ったより元気そうでよかったですわ。
What?
モラビアを相手に一人で戦おうなんて無茶をするね。私たちも加勢する。一人じゃ無理でも全員でかかれば。
Despite being touched by the sentiment, I hurriedly stopped them. Hold on, everyone.
どうしましたの？
I don't want you to fight. This is something I have to do myself. Everyone looked confused by my proclamation just then. Moravia! The bloom stiffened upon Moravia had crept upon noticing Moravia had crept closer. Moravia, however, showed no sign of fear. She regarded me calmly.
加勢が来たのであれば戦いは終わりだよ。
What? But
君と僕は同じなんだとどこかで思っていた。でも違った。僕はやはり人間にはなれない。
oh no! Moravia turned her back to me, started to walk away. Panicked, I called after her. Wait, Moravia!
何？
With everyone here, this is a good opportunity. We can talk everything out. I'd never get a better chance to explain everything to everyone. Commander, I met with Uncle Yashima. He told me everything. The commander smiled as if those few words told me everything he needed to know.
へえ、そっか。驚いたでしょ。
Well, shit. I need to tell everyone the truth. Otherwise, we're just gonna end up... Suddenly, Moravia's eyes moved to something off the distance.
ああ、来たんだ。
Huh? I turned to see what Moravia's looking at. I saw Hyuga and Yukinami heading our way.
あいつらは。
The Bloom's members tensed up at the moment. They caught sight of Moravia's comrades.
おい、さっきの出来事はなんだ。戦争でも追っ始めるつもりか。
あの
No.
二人も心配してるみたいだったよ。
By them, Yukinami presumably meant Lise and Uncle Yashima. With all three Vector handlers assembled, the tension in the air had ramped up to 100.
敵が増えてもうた。結構不利な状況やな。
あれ？何？やろうっての？
そっちがその気なら返り討ちにしてやるまでだ。
Oh no. Stop! Hold on! Please don't fight!
喧嘩じゃない。戦争。
I know, but wait, no, that's not what I meant. Everyone, please calm down. At least hear me out first.
My earnestness calmed everyone down a bit, but both sides were far too wary of each other to let their guards down. The Blooms all looked at the commander, but Hyuga and Yukinami... Alright, the Blooms all looked at the commander, and Hyuga and Yukinami looked to Moravia. Nobody knew what to do.
せっかくなんだし話を聞こうよ。みんなにも知っておいてほしいことだし
How
ね
the fuck is this gonna end?
僕も構わないよ。
つまんないよ。戦おうってば。
雪並み。
分かったよ。
Relief washed over me when both sides agreed to let me talk. I felt like I just defused a bomb. Whew. I snuck a glance at Moravia. Our eyes met. I gave her a small thank you smile, and I could have sworn I saw her eyes soften for just a moment. I'm about to tell everyone what I learned from Uncle Yashima, a former researcher, and about what happened in Theta's research district. Project Enviro Adaptation, the success stories who were born with superpowers and the failures who were exiled as vectors. I touched on Ibuki's background too. Everyone in the Blooms seemed shocked to learn the truth. To learn that their very sworn enemies weren't so very different from them. Where'd I get the second very? Whatever. No wonder they weren't sure what to think. God. And that's the extent of it. Nobody said anything after I wrapped up, but everyone looked somber. The Blooms remained silent, but even more surprising was that Hyuga and Yukinami never said a word either. Yukinami seemed distracted at first, but he gradually grew more and more attentive. Maybe he was actually capable of getting lost in thought.
まあいろいろ説明したけどざっくり言えば諸悪の根源は上層部の人間たちだよって話だね。
Every eye turned to glare at him. Could he ever not be glib?
いや、ざっくりしすぎやろ。
Several mouthfuls here. I was stunned too when I learned everything from Uncle Yashima. Moravia asked me if the world should belong to vectors, humans or vectors. Now that I know the truth, it's even harder to decide what's right.
ではなぜ戦闘を？私たちには一方的に見えましたが。
Ah, that was not so much of a fight. Moravia and I just...
モラビアと喧嘩しようって発想すっごい。しかもめちゃくちゃ無謀。
We got a normal end. I'm gonna have to redo a little bit and get a good end.
本当、無謀の極みだね。
Ugh. I couldn't believe it. Kaori and Yukinami were scoring points off me together.
とまあそういうわけなんだ。ブルームズのみんなには酷なことをさせていたね。
We really were forced to do some absolute atrocities.
人間が害獣を生み出しておきながら君たちにそれを倒させていたんだから申し訳なかった。
This game is like fucked. Human experimentation. Like there's so much going on in this game.
ほんま、胸くそ悪くなる自作自演や。真実を隠されていたとはいえ、私たちのしてきたことを考えると。
それをさせていたのは上司である僕だよ。部下の君たちが責任を負うことじゃない。僕としてもこれ以上みんなに辛い思いはさせたくないと思っている。
何それ、無責任。上司としてもっとかっこいいこと言えないの？
Wow, okay.
手厳しいな。
That was really rough. Everyone was giving the commander a hard time, but nobody seemed to blame him. He'd been stuck in an impossible situation and tried his best for everyone, including me. I think everyone realized that. So, what do you all plan to do? The members of the Blooms exchanged looks, then they nodded as one.
やっぱりこのままブルームズを続けていくのは無理だと思う。ええ。細かいことはさておき、それだけははっきりしてるね。うちも右に同じや。こんな矛盾だらけの仕事、やってられへんわ。
Though, Mocha, honestly, I don't think anybody enjoys being used.
私もですわ。今まで上層部にいいように使われていたのだと思うと、腹が立って仕方ないですわ。
We were totally used as pawns to commit atrocities. Yeah, you're all right. Moravia broke her long silence to address me.
君はどうしたいの？
I can't keep doing what I've been doing. I want my life to be something else, be about something else. If we're disbanding the Blooms, I'd like to ask the Vector handlers to help me keep them from attacking humans. Everyone seemed surprised by my choice. Both sides of the conflict, Vector and human alike, looked at me with shock. I'll need your help with that, Moravia.
どうして僕が？
You're human.
I want you to understand that, no matter how long it takes. I'll keep at it until you realize who you are. If you assist me with the vectors, you should eventually become comfortable with your humanity.
何を今さら綺麗事だな。これまで散々害獣を生み出して殺しておいて、そのくせ真実を知ったら協力してほしいなんざ。
僕もパス。つまんなそうだし協力する気になれないな。
害獣たちは自分の意志で人間たちを襲いに行く。俺たちがそれを止める道理はない。
Hyuga's answer was crystal clear. I waited to see what Moravia would say.
わかった。
おい、本気かモラビア。
Really?
もっとも、君が僕を説得できるとは思えないけどね。だけど、君の提案を試してみるくらいなら、手を貸しても構わないよ。
Moravia hasn't fully come around to my point of view, but it's a start! We met on opposite ends of the battlefield, and now we shared a bit of common ground. It was a big step forward. I joyously ran to Moravia and grabbed her hands. Thank you, Moravia!
あんまり期待しないでほしいけどね。
Still, I'm so happy!
マジかよ。めんどくせえ。
モラビアがそれでいいなら僕も別にいいけどね。
The two of them seemed reluctant, but they didn't want to oppose Moravia. I shifted my huge smile from Moravia to Hyuga and Yukinami. It's gonna be great working with you guys. Well, it's not a bad end. Afterwards, it was decided that the commander of the Blooms would return to Theta and arrange to be officially disbanded. I would remain here with Lise and do everything I could to keep the Vectors from attacking humans. The commander proposed using Ryo as a go-between so that we could keep in touch. Ibuki and the others were in agreement. But what part did Ryo really play in all this? He's not here today, and the others don't know where he is either. He's a real enigma.
それじゃあ、私たちは帰るよ。またね。
Yeah, stay well, everyone. They're all gone now. I feel kind of lonely. As I watched them leave, I realized that Moravia had shifted back to Ibuki. Thank you for opening your mind today. I'm glad we came to an agreement.
考えは変わらないけどね。
Oh, don't say that. Like I told you before, we don't have the right to decide whether humans or vectors deserve to live in this world.
だから僕は
You're not the only one who's made up their mind. I'm gonna make sure you accept that you're human, so stop being silly. I folded my arms and glared, but Ibuki just burst out laughing.
やっぱり君は面白いな。こんな言い合いをするのなんて初めてかも。なんだか君に説得されるのも悪くないような気がしてきたよ。
Well, really?
今はまだ説得される気はないけどね。
My ideal future was still a long way off. But as long as I had Ibuki by my side, sharing jokes and laughter, I could look forward with hope. I'll win you over. You'll see. So you best get ready.
ああ、楽しみにしているよ。
I flashed a determined grin at Ibuki. There was no way I was gonna lose. Well, okay. Again, normal end. Oh, a new option has been added to the Villainous Justice common route.
どこまで進んだか一目瞭。
Okay, Ibuki route. Ability use high, affection high, yes.
だが仮に超能力が
There we go, skip. There we go, only what we've read. Must I give him an answer? There we go. Okay, I must have missed some selections back then. All right. So we're gonna go back to our fight with Moravia and we're gonna see what happens. Now that we're locked into the good end. What is a special child? You're a human. Alright, here we go. Time to fight. Alright.
I don't want to fight her. But at this rate, I'm saving because we're checking the flow chart. Okay, we're still at 4-2. Okay. What? What? Oh my god, are you kidding me? Do I really have to... Do I really have to do all of that again? Okay, well, I guess we're gonna be doing a lot of skipping as we get through this.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's annoying, but, hopefully it won't take too long to do all the skips. Our skip... There we go. Skip speed. I was like, our skip speed's kind of sucky. There we go. Now we can up the skip speed. There we go. Now we're zip zooming through this thing. Okay, there we go. All right. Feels nice. Yes, that's what I want. All right, we gotta just do all the... Oh, okay, no, the option. It is a...
僕は誰とも違うから。
Rewind.
僕は誰
How are you different? Are you human? Okay, that's the correct answer. Are you human? Okay. Weird that it didn't give me that right away, but... Agree to go. Okay. Yep, now we hold hands and we go walk around and we train. I can switch on.
それならもっと
Okay,
それとも君は
okay, so
それとも君は
this is my limit. Okay. Yeah, then he carries me. We have to stop them. We stop them from going to attack people. Okay, Kosebi looks sad somehow. I guess I would. We have to be really, really, open to his ideas, I guess. Okay. All right, this is where we start getting hints that there's somebody who lives in that house, but we don't know who it is. We don't know it's our uncle. They look normal to me. Oh yeah, this is we're sitting on this tree when he asks us, who do you think should inherit the world? Oh, okay, cool, so it doesn't matter. I can't decide. Decision's not mine to make, so
決まっている
yeah, that's where he gives the,
君はどう
I
思う
still don't know. Okay, that's the correct answer. This one, we have to say, I get what he's saying. Okay, yeah. Yep. I feel for the vectors. What humans are doing is wrong, so it's not incorrect, but something about this just isn't right. Okay. So we have to agree and disagree at the same time. Ugh. But we should be okay, because we started with... We're at 100% for everything. So this is just get us through. Okay. Oh, yep, now we're here again. Tummy growls, rumblies, and our tumblies. Okay. And then, yep, continue through. All the backstory. Must I give him... Oh, no, I have to say I'm not special. I'm not
この世
special.
に特別じゃ
No, okay, that's not what... Must I give him an answer? Okay. Okay, so that was the one that we missed. What is a special child? You're human. Okay, are we even... How we doing? Okay. I wanted her to understand, but I wasn't getting through. Just when I thought it was all over. What's going on? I heard a familiar voice. No! What the hell? Does it have to be low?
どこ
Sync, does it have to be sync love high, sync low? Is it the same? Ability use low, affection high? Is that what it has to be? Is it the same thing? I'm not special. What is a special child? You're human. Okay. It's time to go all out. Okay. Because now we've gotten that same ending 3 times in a row, so I've done something wrong.
へえ
Trained well. I was covered in wounds. But what shows? Want to understand, wasn't get through switch over. What? Okay, happy end. Finally, we got it. So okay, so it's the same as the others. It has to be link low, ability use low, which in this one is link, and then affection high. Okay, I heard a familiar voice that belong here.
大丈夫
Am I all right? It's you. It wasn't a dream or mirage. The members of the Blooms were really running up to me. Moravia took a step back and is clearly alarmed by the reinforcements.
間に合ったようでよかったですわ
間に合った言うてもえらいボロボロやけどな
Yeah.
まったく
That's
一人で無茶をして
Despite the circumstances, I couldn't help but grin as my friends called out to me one by one.
あなたが急にいなくなって心配してましたのよ
Yeah. But what are you all doing here?
指令が何か知っていそうだったからみんなで締め上げ
Oh, what?
じゃなくて
Wait, asked
穏
him
便に尋
nicely.
ねたの
Say what? Put the screws on.
知ってるのに黙ってる方が悪い
Well, yes.
ブルームズはただでさえ人手が足りないのに一人でも勝手に抜けられたら困るよ
Yeah, okay, I'm glad that's what you're worried about.
素直に心配したって言えばええのに
Harka flushed a brilliant beet red. It seemed Mocha's rebuke hit home.
うるさい
I was delighted to see that none of them had changed.
I'm sorry for making you worry. Thank you so much. No one responded to my apology verbally, but I received a number of affectionate shoulder slaps. Then everyone's eyes turned to Moravia.
さて仲間の部長を喜ぶのはこの辺にしてまずは目の前の敵をどうにかしないとね
About that.
よう知らんけどあんたのその怪我あいつにやられたんやろせやったら倍返しせなあかんな
加勢しますわ一筋縄にいかない相手ですが全員で連携すれば
Guys!
I shook my head firmly. Everyone, wait. This is my fight. I don't want anyone else getting involved.
何言ってるの一人でなんて無理に決まってるでしょ
You're probably right, but I still need to handle it. That's what my heart's telling me. Please, let me do this. Everyone swept their eyes over me as if they were gauging my resolve.
決意は固いようですわね香りどうしますの わかった。ここは任せる。
Thank you. Cody and I nodded at each other. Then the entire Bloom squad fell back to a safe distance. Moravia finally broke her silence with my name. Her eyes were fixed firmly on mine, and they were clouded with sadness. Moravia?
君があくまでも自分は人間だというのなら、君は僕と一緒にいない方がいいね。
Moravia lifted her arm suddenly and held her palm out to me.
さよならだ。
This pressure, it's positively crushing! Is she about to launch a massive psychokinetic attack? Run, everyone! I called out to the others, who tensed up when they realized what was going on. Despite the distance, they were in danger. Damn, there's no time. In a few seconds, everyone's gonna be... I dug my heels in the dirt and turned to face Moravia. I wasn't gonna run away. I mirrored Moravia, raising my arms so my open palm faced her. I can't let her hurt the others. I have to stop her. A fraction of a second later, my projectile collided with Moravia's own attack. A massive shockwave spread from Moravia with a colossal blast. My psychokinesis could only counter hers for a second. I absorbed the brunt of the attack. A wave of pain slammed into me and I flung into the air, agony ripping through my body. I'm so sorry, everyone. Oh, this is the happy end? What? Yeah, it says happy. Okay. I tried to steel myself for a hard landing even as my consciousness began to fade. However, I never hit the ground. Instead, I felt someone catch and hold me tight. Am I being carried? I tried to open in my eyes, but whoever was carrying me had gently covered them with their hand.
みんなのところへお帰り。
Ibuki's voice rang out as I slipped into unconsciousness. What? What? My head felt like a foggy, fuzzy mess. Ugh, my body feels so sluggish. The fuck? Huh? Isn't this? I opened my eyes and gazed at the ceiling, realizing that I was in a familiar room. What? Oh, right. I fought with Moravia and she knocked me out with her psychokinesis. But then Ibuki caught me before I fell. My memory slowly crawled back to me. What? She attacked me, but he saved me. Why would Ibuki do something like that? That was as far as my thought process got before I looked and saw the other Bloom's members lying beside me. Everyone was asleep, as if completely drained. Everyone except for the commander, who had his eyes trained on me.
意識が戻ったみたいだね。体調は大丈夫？
I don't fucking know.
I'm okay, a bit sore maybe.
そっか。君が無事でよかった。
The commander smiled at me. I recalled what Uncle Yashima said. I heard everything from Uncle Yashima. Thank you for watching over me this whole time, Commander. I'd been wanting to thank him since I learned the truth. The commander shrugged, easygoing as always.
やっぱりいいものだね。誰かに感謝してもらえるってのは。転職に踏み切れたのは君のおかげのようなものだし、こっちこそ感謝しているよ。
I'm glad we helped each other.
おっと、みんなも起きそうだね。この話はここまでにしておこう。
The commander was right. Once Cloudy woke up, the other members stirred and opened their eyes. Good morning, everyone.
あ、意識が戻ったんだ。よかった。
What the fuck happened?
Yeah, thank you. Is everyone else alright?
まあ、なんとか。
えらいくたくたやけどな。でも、全員生きて帰ってこられたのですから、贅沢は言っていられませんわ。
What happened back then? There. I remember Moravia hit me with her attack and then everything went black. Cloudy thought for a second before speaking.
あれは攻撃じゃなかった。サイコキネシスの威力はすごかったけど、私たちを殺す気はなかったみたい。爆風で目くらましをして、モラビアは姿を消した。後にはあんたが倒れていたの。
Are we really sure this is the happy end?
外傷はないのに全然目覚まさへんから、打ちどころでも悪かったんやろかって、うちらも心配してたんや。
Well, Mocha's eyes were full of concern, but I waved my hand to show I was fine. Thanks. At any rate, I'm glad to see none of you were hurt.
君が逃げるよう警告してくれたから、私たちは少し飛ばされただけで済んだの。だけどそれからじきに、あいつら、ヒューガと雪並みが、怪獣の大群を引き連れてやってきた。
What the fuck is this end? What? That must have been a massively dangerous situation for the Blooms to be in. I felt terrible that I'd slept through it all.
とても私たちで対処しきれない数でしたから、あなたを連れて撤退するしか選択肢はありませんでしたわ。ここに帰り着く頃には夜も更けていたけど、意識のないあんたを置いて帰る気になれなくて。
Okay. They were really that concerned about me? My heart filled with warmth. The Blooms really did regard me as one of their own. I'm sorry for disappearing the way I did. Thank you for thinking of me. I have some great friends, huh? My words came straight from my heart, which seemed to embarrass the others.
そういう恥ずかしいこと、よく言えるね。
Yeah.
それで、どこに何をしに行っていたの？
Uh-huh.
これだけ周りに心配をかけたんだから、ちゃんと話してくれるよね。
Yeah. I looked over at the commander. He looked back and nodded slowly. All right, please listen. I'll explain why I took off for the abandoned colony without saying anything. And I'll tell you what I found there. I started from the beginning and didn't stop until I was finished. Well, we still explain everything to everyone. Getting everything out took a very long time. Everyone listened with solemn expressions. Howdy and Haruka, however, remained composed. It seemed like they already knew the gist of it all.
そんな。
That's everything I know. Yeah, it's hard to believe.
いえ、あなたの言うことを疑うわけではありませんわ。ただ、あまりにもショックで。
Yeah.
せやな。なんかもう、
Yeah.
何を信じたらええのかわからへんわ。
害獣のことや研究のこともだけど、個人的にかなり驚いたことがあるの。言っていいかな？
What's she referring to? Maybe about Moravia being Ibuki? That was definitely a surprise. A guy who could turn into a girl and back on a whim. But Kaori was reacting to something else entirely.
指令の過去。
Oh.
そこ？
That's what's bothering you?
前からうさんくさいとは思ってたけど、元研究者で被験者の逃走を手伝って、今は学園の教師でもあり、特務部隊の司令って。
それ、私も思った。
Oh, okay.
痛いけな少女を影から表から見守ってきたんだよ。すごいとか尊敬するとかは思わなかったの？
すごいし尊敬できなくはないけど、それ以上にうさんくさい。
僕に対してちょっと当たりがきつくない？
Commander, I'm grateful to you, of course. Really, thank you for everything you've done. Everyone's smiling. Things have loosened up a bit. Holiday was clearly jabbing at the commander to get everyone to laugh and lighten up. But even though we were smiling, we were all keenly aware of how heavy my story was. But sometimes, all you could do is laugh. We all knew that if we didn't lighten the mood with an occasional joke, we'd be crushed by despair. It's good to have friends. And I was with them again thanks to Ibuki. The last words Ibuki spoke to me were, "You're going home with the others." I guess this is what he meant. I nodded inwardly, looking at everyone, and explained what Ibuki had said and done. So, Ibuki saved me and brought me back to you all.
伊吹が君をここに返そうとしたのは、人間なら人間と共に生きるべきという考えがあったからなんだろうけど、残念ながらシータは君にとって安全な場所とは言えなくなってしまったんだよ。
I looked closely at the commander's face. I could tell he was uneasy. It's not safe for me? What do you mean?
すごくタイミングが悪かったとしか言えないんだけど、昨日
Did they uncover my
僕のとこ
file?
ろに上層部の人間から連絡が入ってね。どうやら君が第一世代の子供であることを嗅ぎつけたらしくて、
Yep.
君の身柄を研究エリアに引き渡すよう要求してきたんだ。
What? I hadn't expected news on that level. My jaw fell open. Kaori spoke up, her voice angry.
は？何それ？そんな要求飲めるわけないでしょ。
ふざけてますわ。当然断りましたわよね。
ちょっと怖い顔するのやめて。断ろうにも
Yeah.
断り方をうまくやらないとまずいことになっちゃうんだからさ。
It's literally not like he can just go. No. Fuck you. Yeah.
弱腰やな。
Milksop?
どうせ第一世代の子供とかいうのがバレたのも
Milksop?
指令がどっかでしくじったからやないの？
What the fuck is a milksop?
大事なところで爪が甘かったんでしょ？
冤罪の嵐。
You said the call came in yesterday. When exactly?
ブルームズのみんなが君を迎えに行った頃だよ。こちらの動きを読んだ上で そのタイミングだったんだろうね。
Is it real?
上層部は第一世代で最も期待されていた2人の行方をずっと探していたんだ。だけど短命な彼らの寿命を考えればもう生きていないだろうと半ば諦めていた。そんな中、さらなる期待を寄せた第二世代の息吹にも逃げられてしまった。
Yeah.
彼まで失うのは研究エリアにとって手痛い打撃だ。躍起になって息吹を探し出そうとする中で偶然君の存在をつかんだんだろう。君の両親、
Yeah.
東郷とサナの遺伝子を受け継ぐ子供なら、あるいは息吹以上の逸材になる可能性があると考えたんだ。
Yeah, they don't, not by a long shot.
研究しか頭にない連中の考えそうなことだね。
The commander nodded, seemingly agreeing with Cody.
今までは僕が何とかごまかしてきたんだけど、ブルームズのメンバーの誰かがその子供ではないかと疑われてしまった。
Yeah.
ここにもいつ上層部直属の保安部隊がやってきてもおかしくない状況だ。
The commander's grim expression made me realize just how dire the situation was.
ってなんでそれを先に言わないの。
悠長に喋ってる暇なんてないやないの。
Yeah. Cody and Boka both looked drained. I wondered if the commander was finally out of ideas.
まあまあ落ち着いて。いざとなれば僕が身を挺してでも彼女を逃がすつもりでいるし、他にも一応手は打ってある。ヤシマ先輩に連絡を入れて息吹にあることを頼んでもらったんだ。
Oh, huh? Ibuki? I blurted that out, heart pounding. He actually asked Ibuki for help?
そう、君をここから連れ出してくれるようにってね。
Oh.
息吹がヤシマ先輩の言うことを聞くかはわからないけど、多分動いてくれるよ。
Gotcha.
なんと言っても君のためなんだから。
That's how he comes back. That's interesting, okay?
君もここにいるよりは彼と一緒にいた方が安全なはずだよ。
Ibuki's gonna take me away. I had a strong urge to see him again. There was still so much I wanted to ask. I had to face him again, talk things through. I can't leave so many loose ends. I was worried about leaving Lise behind in Tao, but more than that, I just wanted to see Ibuki again.
驚くことばかり聞かされたけど、大体の事情は飲み込めたよ。
Yep.
とにかく
Basically,
この子を守ればいいってことだよね。
protect me until Ibuki comes. I am now your protection mission. But if you... excuse me. Oh my goodness. But if you protect me, your own positions might be jeopardized.
それくらい覚悟の上。
研究のことや害獣のことを知った以上、命令されるままに害獣たちを倒すなんてもうできませんわ。
Yeah.
上層部のやり方は矛盾だらけや。うちらもこれまでいい子やった分、
Yeah.
反抗期に入ってもええ頃やろ。
Resistance, resistance.
そう簡単に仲間を撃ってたまるかってのよ。
You're all too kind. I was overwhelmed by their support, but at that moment, the door flew open and armed men spilled into the room! What? I froze in shock. The other members of the Blooms moved together to form a protective shield in front of me. As the armed men advanced, a single man clad in immaculate white entered behind them.
あいつ研究エリアのトップだよ。
Yeah. Cowdy filled me in, voice no louder than a strangled whisper.
これは団体でお越しとは驚きました。本日はどのようなご用件で？
白々しい。
The man in white ignored the commander and looked at each Bloom member before his eyes finally settled on me. His gaze was cold, completely devoid of emotion. It made the hairs on the back of my neck stand on end.
第一世代の子供と倉森、我々と共に来てもらおうか。
Wait, they want him too?
失礼ですが、何の権限があってそのようなことを？
私は上層部の命で動いている。私に逆らうことは上層部に立てつくことと知れ。
まさに虎の意を狩るなんとやらですね。
Oh.
上層部直属の保安部隊まで借りてきて、いや実に賑やかで結構です。
Oh.
そんなにこの子たちが怖いですか？
Oh.
口を慎め。用心するに越したことはないというだけだ。
Cowdy took a step forward.
これで用心？私たちも随分舐められたものだね。
Okay. Well, this... Okay.
うちらを相手にそんな通常装備で太刀打ちできるとでも思ってるん？
とはいえ所詮人間弱点がある。ここで私を相手に暴れれば家族や友人にも類が及ぶと思え。
As if on cue, the researchers held up a device. Several pictures of people flashed across the screen. The others gasped with recognition. Yep.
人質ってわけ。
Oh, well, that's worse.
汚いですわ。
分かったらそこをどきたまえ。用があるのは第一世代の子供と無能な指令だけだ。
Despite the threat, the others didn't move at all. The wall of friendship remained in front of me, but I couldn't stay. I couldn't risk their loved ones.
It's alright, everyone. Don't worry about me. I'll be alright.
Kaori, Senna, Mocha, Haruka, and the commander looked to one another with pained expressions. The researchers smirked and sized them up before speaking again.
さっきまでの威勢はどこへ行ったのやら。仲間を見捨てる罪悪感はどんなものかね。
Stop it. I glared at him, my voice hard with anger. I'll go with you, but you must stop tormenting my friends. Leave them alone.
おい、連れて行け。
Security personnel grabbed me and the commander and dragged us off like common criminals.
ちょっとその子に手荒な真似をしたら許さないよ。
You're not very threatening.
I gave each member of the Blooms a small smile as I was unceremoniously marched past.
I let the guards lead me away without resistance.
特務部隊の他の者たちには謹慎を言い渡す。
No, that's
勝
rude.
手な真似は許さんぞ。
Well,
Ibuki, come save me. I was led to a lab room deep within the research district. I wasn't sure where they hauled the commander off to. I knew I was about to endure something horrendous. Sure enough, I was put through endless invasive tests, one after the other, always without my permission. I was usually kept in a drugged, drowsy state, which severely repressed my powers. No doubt the researchers were scared of them. Days passed since I'd been brought to the facility.
this is really the happy end? Yeah, happy ending. Okay, I question the use of the word happy.
I lay on an examination table, restrained as always, trying to think as I faded in and out of consciousness. This is inhumane. At this rate, I'll be a lab rat for the rest of my life. Is Lise doing alright? And what about the Blooms? Are they okay? I've caused so much trouble for everyone. And also, I can't remember. My drug-addled mind couldn't hang on to a thought for very long. I'll never see the outside world again. But if I ever get out, the first person I'd want to see is... Ibuki's smiling face popped into my mind. Suddenly, I heard footsteps. They gradually became louder. Someone was coming. What will it be this time? I'm tired.
Oh!
Huh? Ibuki?
Ibuki busted into the room. I was sure I was hallucinating.
Why is Ibuki here? Oh, yeah. The commander mentioned something about getting word to Uncle Yashima. I gazed at Ibuki, who looked like something out of a dream. He rushed to my side.
遅くなってごめんね。すぐに助けに来れなくて。本当にごめん。
Aww. Ibuki broke my shackles with psychokinesis while he explained how he'd put every human in the facility to sleep with the help of the others. I was so happy Ibuki was here and that the others had worked with him. I relaxed a little and actually smiled.
怪我はない。
Ibuki looked at me concerned, but I could only gaze back. I was too woozy to do much else.
大丈夫？すぐにここから。
I wanted to see you. My sudden confession seemed to take Ibuki by surprise. I felt embarrassed as soon as the words tumbled out of my mouth. I tried to sit up, but I had no strength. I slumped over to one side. Ibuki grabbed me by the shoulder, steadying me. Oh, it really is Ibuki. He did come. God, we're fucking high as a kite. He cradled me in the same way he did when we left Tao. Being in his arms was soothing beyond words. Thank you for coming to save me, Ibuki. He looked away.
僕は君にひどいことをした奴らが許せない。君は自分にこんなひどいことをする連中と一緒。同じ人間だって今でも言えるの。
Ibuki's rare display of emotion was surprising. He's really angry. Angry for my sake. Even under the circumstances, it made me happy to know that. Yeah, I'm a human. I really am. I have parts of me that are imperfect, ugly, and sometimes I make terrible decisions. But that's all part of the human experience.
それはおかしい。君は醜くなんかない。綺麗だよ。
Aww. Oh, I remember hearing that before. It was when Ibuki and I went outside Tao alongside the Vectors. You know, Ibuki, you got weird tastes. Or interesting tastes, at least. I grinned at him and Ibuki looked shocked for a moment.
そんなことないよ。君は本当に綺麗なんだから。
Ibuki squeezed me a little harder, as if he wanted to make sure I was still with him.
この研究施設にいると、昔を、君の両親と過ごした時を思い出す。
Yeah, what is the age gap here? Because I'm thinking it might be something like if he was... It might be something like 10 years. That's interesting.
東郷とサナは、僕にとって特別な存在だった。僕と同じように強大な力を持ちながら、僕とは違う道を選んだ二人。そんな二人がどんな運命をたどるのかこの目で見たかった僕は、研究施設を抜け出して、そこで見つけたのが君だよ。
Ibuki smiled, lost in his memories. I nodded, encouraging him to continue.
君を初めて目にした時、僕はなんて綺麗な生き物なんだろうって感動したんだ。
Oh. Did you just say creature?
僕には赤ん坊っていう概念がなかったから。ただ小さくて綺麗な生き物だって思ったんだよ。
Yeah. Why did you think that?
純粋で汚れがなくて、それだけでなく、君が周りの人々に大切にされていたからなのかもね。
A treasure. Yeah, I was always loved and treasured by Uncle Yashima, the commander, my mom and dad. They gave me life, treasured me, loved me. If Ibuki thought of me as a precious treasure, maybe that was his way of interpreting human love. I realized that even though I'd been afraid of him, he'd always treated me like something precious. Ibuki wasn't surprised by love when he was wasn't surrounded by love. Surprised, yeah, he was surprised. He wasn't surrounded by love when he was raised here. The people who handled him so coldly, they made him something other than human. Now I understood the deep sadness in Ibuki's eyes. I won't look away again. This time I reached out and gently cupped Ibuki's cheeks. I could see my reflection in his eyes. Your humanity is in there, Ibuki. If you don't feel it yourself, then let me try and teach you what it means to be a human. I've received so much love from the people in my life. I intend to share it with you, so please don't say you're not human.
Also, we have come out of the drugs quite fast.
僕...
Ibuki looked away, as if struggling with something inside himself. His usual ethereal aura had dissipated, leaving behind the face of a lost little boy. It was the most human I'd ever seen him.
僕は人間になりたいのかな。
You thought my parents were special, right? In a way, you wanted to be like them. And they were simply trying to live the rest of their lives as regular humans.
人間らしく。
They risked everything to be together as a loving family. Isn't that what being human is all about? Blessings, blessings, blessings. Ibuki buried his face in my shoulder.
君の両親と君が人間であり続けるなら、僕も同じがいい。人間がいい。
Aww, you're already human, Ibuki. I gently stroked Ibuki's hair. Maybe that was the start of me showing Ibuki what it was like to love as a human. Aww. Ibuki carried me out of the research district. We hugged the colony wall, traveling at a run. Ibuki handed me a change of clothes from Luze. It was my good old uniform. I slipped it on and already felt better as I let Ibuki carry me again. This reminds me of that time we stopped the Vectors from attacking Data.
そうだね。あの時は自分が人間になるなんて想像もしなかったな。
And how do you feel now?
すごくいいよ。
Aww. Ibuki's smile made my heart light up, and we both grinned at each other shyly. We traveled for a while longer before we spotted some familiar faces by the outer wall. It was the Bloobs, plus the commander and Riel. Hey everyone! The group looked at us and smiled, clearly relieved to see that I was alright. They came running over as Ibuki put me down. Can I stand? Like, are the drugs gone?
待ってたよ。
Aw.
無事みたいで安心した。
まったく一人で決めていってしまうなんて。聞かせたことはすごく後悔しましたわ。
Thanks. I'm glad you're worried about me.
もう大丈夫ですの。
I'm so sorry to have worried you all. I'm okay now. What about you all? Did they hurt you?
うちらは謹慎食らっただけやったし、なんもあらへんかったよ。まあ、指令はちょっと痛い目にあったみたいやけど。
What? Are you okay, Commander? Did they torture you?
違う。保安部隊の隊員に連行された際、
Oh no!
一人で滑って転んで腰を痛めたらしい。
それにも治ったしね。僕だってまだまだ若いんだから。
Oh my god.
The commander was fine.
I couldn't help but grinning.
Jeez, I'm so relieved. I'm glad you got away without being seriously hurt.
富塚くんに助け出してもらったんだよ。ほんと頼りになる男だね。
おだてても何も出ませんよ。
Mm.
それにこれからはそんな笑っていられる立場じゃなくなります。
いや、さすがに僕ももうシータにいられなくなっちゃったから、ヤシマ先輩のところに転がり込もうかと。
That's a great idea. Uncle Yashima will be thrilled to have you. We set things up to make it easier, to make it seem as if me, Lise, and the commander, Mr. Kuromori, had disappeared from the academy for good. It's not as exciting as rumors about superheroes.
It's not as exciting as rumors about superheroes. I smiled proudly to myself as Kaori and Haruka came forward.
実は私たち研究エリアに顔が利くの。
Her tone of voice told me all I needed to know. Ibuki had mentioned that several Bloom's members were born there as test subjects. He'd likely been talking about Kaori and Haruka.
研究エリアで行われていることについて、私たちが知っていることは一部だけだった。到底許せるものじゃないと思った。
私たちだってもう上層部の言いなりになるつもりはない。
Yeah.
だけどすぐに全てを変えるような力も、それでも諦める気はさらさらないよ。私たちはもうすぐ大人になる。そうしたらこのままにはしないつもりだよ。
Good, good.
Sana and Mocha nodded, their faces determined. The commander and Ryo stayed quiet as they watched us chart our own destiny.
これ以上害獣を生み出すような真似はさせない。そんなこと絶対にさせちゃいけない。私たちはシータを中から変えていく。だからあんたたちには外から手を貸してほしいの。
Ibuki, who had been listening silently, now stepped forward to stand beside me.
害獣も人間も関係なく手を結ぼうってことだね。
Kaori matched Ibuki's gaze and nodded firmly. Alright, we'll do everything in our power to make sure everyone has a life worth living. I reached out my hand to Kaori, who smiled shyly before shaking it. In that moment, I decided I was going to do everything I could.
ひとまず僕は害獣たちが人間を襲わないようにコントロールしていくよ。人間を傷つけるのは害獣たちにとっても本意じゃないことだからね。
Then Ibuki grinned.
ヒューガと雪並みにも人間に手出しをしないよう説得するよ。
That's gonna take some time to get
時間はかかるかもしれないけど。
よろしく頼むね。私たちも頑張るから。
害獣を生み出す研究をなくすよう、研究エリアに積極的に働きかけていく。
You have any ideas on how you'll do that? I was surprised at how fast they were moving. Haruka glanced at the commander and explained.
計画案は指令がいくつか考えてくれた。
Yeah.
使えなさそうな案も混じっていたけど。
ねえ、風船を使ったあの案なんて僕的に一押しだったんだけどな。
大却下ですわ。
Operation Balloon? What on earth would that even look like?
Thankfully, there was no need for an immediate answer. We had plenty of time. I would ask about Operation whatever later.
こっちのことは大丈夫や。富塚さんも手を貸してくれる言うてるし、なんとかなるやろ。
まあ、乗りかかった船なんでね。
Did we ever have we ever touched upon the fact that he's a double agent?
Thank you.
さあ、そろそろ行こう。いつまでもここにいて見つかったら厄介だ。
Ibuki, the commander, and I were all fugitives. We couldn't exactly
stroll out Theta's front gates.
We decided we'd leave through a lightly patrolled section of the wall that Ibuki used to use. There, we parted ways with Kaori and the others.
元気でね。離れていても一緒に頑張ろう。
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Rio and the Blooms watched us depart, and with that, we left Theta behind us. Once we were past the wall, the commander put on a protective suit. He walked on ahead with a cheerful, "Take your time." I blushed when I realized the commander might have gotten the wrong idea about us, but Ibuki didn't seem to mind at all. I looked back and saw our surroundings were growing brighter. It's beautiful. No matter what came our way, I'd never lose hope. Someday the light would guide us all on the path forward. We would walk into the future together.
行こう。
Ibuki held his hand out to me, and I took it without hesitation. It's so warm. The warmth of Ibuki's hand reminded me just how human he really was. Thinking about that made me so happy. I squeezed his hand. Ibuki immediately squeezed back.
少し分かった気がするよ。
Oh, plushy sprite! Understand what?
僕はこうして君に会うために生まれてきたのかもしれない。
Oh. Our hands still clasped, we both leaned in far enough to touch shoulders. No doubt, countless obstacles awaited us. Building a bright future wasn't going to be easy. But Ibuki and I, we're not alone. Ibuki's warm hand was a promise that we'd endure every hardship together. Happy and thankful, I sent out a wish to the world. I wished that, somehow, my new happiness would extend to all the people who loved and protected me.
Aww. That was alright. We definitely spent more of his route afraid of him than, romancing him. But it works. Oh, this is a different ending for the villains. All right, well. We're gonna pop that stop because I am tired. And, it's time for stream to end. We did it. We finished Ibuki's route. We'll have to decide what route we do next.
That was blessing. But, for now, it's time to pop over here.
Oh, excuse me.
Well, you all know the usual song and dance. If you're not already following me on social medias, I'd appreciate it very much if you did. And yeah, tomorrow we'll see what we play. It might be 13 Sentinels. It might be more of this game. We'll figure it out. It's open waters from here on out. We're no longer on the SS Baldur's Gate 3, so now we're free to go as we please. But, I may not be able to stream tomorrow. We'll see. But yeah. Well, thank you, Holly. I hope you all have a wonderful meowing, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is for you. Thank you all so much for being here. And, well, without any further ado, bye-bye!